local and digital at our website. Maybe watch us on the Twitch channel. That's always there for you at hornfm.com. Mr. Godbolt.
Good morning to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. We thank you each and every day. Thank you so very much for what you do. It is appreciated. Should be another beauty today.
Yeah, there's a slight chance of a shower, but probably not. It's going to be about 81 degrees today. And then, man, tomorrow for the spring game.
Oh, my goodness. What a day.
92. So dress appropriately if you're headed down to Bevo Boulevard. It'll be a little bit cooler in the morning. But, man, we are going to hit, the morning going to be in the 50s, but then it's going to climb into the 90s for the actual game itself in the afternoon. Looks like a perfect day, though. Perfect day for all the festivities and fun and tailgating if you're going to do it because, again, after tomorrow, there won't be any football until September.
Yeah, there's a lot tomorrow for me. The spring game, and then there's the Austin Cactus and Succulent Society spring show.
What?
Succulent.
Oh.
Down at the
nice.
Botanical Gardens down there in Barton Springs.
Wants to suck on a cactus, not me.
No.
The heck is that?
No, they have a sale. They have big sales down there. And
So you like planting cacti?
Yeah, there's some certain spots for cacti. If you don't want to be messing around with plants and trees and stuff, throw some cactus in there. Got some really nice. There's some nice native plants for this part of the country that are really pretty, that bloom.
I need to get you to come over to my house and help me with my front yard. Our front yard is the one side. It's not a big yard in the first place, but we have these great big trees, canopy oak trees that doesn't get any sun. Like the house itself blocks the sun in the morning because the back of our house face east where the sun rises, and then by the time it gets up over and then to the west, it's these trees just it doesn't get any sun.
Yeah, those are tough. Those are the tough spots right there. But there's some plants that, even though it looks like it's shady,
I'm talking about just grass.
Yeah, well, the grass.
Might have to
that's
go
why I put gardens.
Xeriscape or something.
Yeah, well, that's
my
what
wife
I do.
wants grass. I'm like, I don't know. We don't get enough sun to get grass, but either way, and it's not a
well,
very
I'll just
big
say
yard.
this for you is you can just, with all the stuff that's happened during the course of this winter when trees went down, you got a golf course. If you go look under some of those oaks where the limestone is, where the oaks have actually pulled up the limestone, you'll see some amazing stones that you can get to build your own little garden. They don't have to be that big, but you got stones everywhere over at Onion Creek where those huge oak trees come up, where they pulled the entire ground out, limestone and all.
Love that. I'm going to go do some exploring. But I need your eye. Need your eye on that. But looking forward to a great weekend and a fun weekend at that as we are to mid-April. And, taxes aren't due till Tuesday, so don't worry about that. If you haven't paid your taxes or filed your taxes, you got till Tuesday. The 18th is your...
I got my return yesterday.
Already?
Yeah.
Ty Henderson is back. He had a failed trip to Dallas yesterday, which we'll tell you about. Wah, wah. But so you've already gotten the return. Did you do all right? Pay some bills? Bet some money?
Well, I thought I was going to have to give back some money, so to get anything back was very nice.
Didn't you say your grandma helped you with that?
Yes.
Your tax attorney?
Tax wizard.
I love that when your grandma is the tax wizard.
Absolutely.
That's big time. How many people can say that, for crying out loud? But yeah, we're going to have a lot of Friday fun. Looking forward to it, and we're glad you're with us. Let's start with the headlines. Let's crank this thing up with the news of the morning. UBO Business Services brings you the trending topics, and it starts with Texas basketball. They've been the lead story all week long as the 2023 wave of roster attrition continued for the Horns yesterday. Official word, the Texas high school signee A.J. Johnson is decommitted from his commitment to the program and has signed a professional contract with the Illawarra Hawks of the Australian National Basketball League. 6'5" guard out of L.A. was one of two Texas signees in the class, along with Duncanville forward Ron Holland. As it stands now, Rodney Terry and the Horns do not have a scholarship guard that they are certain will be back on the team next year, of course, due to graduation. And then Tyrese Hunter is declared for the NBA draft and could return. Rowan Brumbaugh and Arterial Morris have both entered the transfer portal. Texas football, Steve Sarkisian and the Longhorns wrapped up their 14th and final spring practice yesterday morning. Now set to take the field at DKR tomorrow for the program's annual Orange-White game presented by Texas One Fun. Texas head coach said earlier in the week it should be a competitive game. They'll have a scoreboard and all, unlike last year's scrimmage, which was really a collection of plays because of limited depth at certain positions. Parking lots open at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Free except for the Maynard Garage. Bevo Boulevard, Longhorn City Limits goes live at 9. That will also include a team autograph session at 9 o'clock. Our pregame coverage here on the Horn will be live at 11 a.m. from Bevo Boulevard. Game will kick at 1, and you'll hear it live here on the Horn if you're not able to make it down. Major League Baseball, incredible start to the 2023 season for the Tampa Rays continued yesterday as the Rays rolled past the Red Sox 9-3 at Tropicana Field. That's win number 13 in a row to start the season, tying the modern-day MLB record, joining the Milwaukee Brewers of 87, 82 Atlanta Braves, only team since 1901 to begin a season on a 13-game streak. They can set the all-time record tonight when they open a series in Toronto. Toronto. Rangers and Astros both had the night off. Round Rock posted a 2-1 walk-off win over Tacoma last night at Dell Diamond. 19th-ranked Texas baseball team opening a Big 12 series in Waco tonight, facing the Baylor Bears in a set of 3. Texas sits atop the Big 12 at 6-3 right now. Baylor near the bottom at 4-8 through their first 12 games. But yesterday here on B&E, head coach David Pierce told us that Baylor an improving ball club, especially at home.
They started very slow, new team, new staff, and you can start to see them coming together. They won their first series against K-State at home, then they lost 2 series on the road, and then they win the series at home against Oklahoma. So this is a team that's continuing to get better. They've played really well at home, so we are no way in any position to take anyone lightly, and so we got to be prepared, go in there and play our best baseball to win.
Game 1 set for tonight, 6:30. You'll hear it live here on the Horn, 1 o'clock tomorrow, 2 o'clock tomorrow, 1 o'clock on Sunday. Washington Commanders owners Dan and Tanya Snyder in the NFL have reached a preliminary non-exclusive agreement to sell the Washington franchise to a group led by Josh Harris. Price tag, if it's approved, a staggering $6.05 billion.
This segment brought to you by UBO Business Services. Great people, great service, endless possibilities. That's UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com.
How long do you think it'll be before Tanya Snyder takes off from Dan when that thing gets sold?
See ya.
So, bye.
Let me cash in on that. It's like the show Succession.
See
How
ya.
quickly can I get my cash and get on out of here?
Get away from you, dude.
Yeah, man. That'll be good for the NFL, too. Daniel Snyder's been a terrible owner. Even the most ardent Washington fan will tell you that. They are so happy to have him gone. It's been a rudderless ship. Well, not even rudderless. He's too involved and won't the first part, but he's just not a good owner. Josh Harris, who's going to finance this thing and apparently buy the club, he already owns teams in the NHL and the NBA. Philadelphia 76ers, he's a co-owner of that team. But it has to be approved. I mean, the soonest this thing could all get done is likely the end of May. There'll be another round of owners meetings in late May. That's where if everything moves through between now and then, the owners would vote, and if they voted through, then the sale would be finalized. But so by the start of the year, certainly by the middle of the summer, this thing will be in the bag, and Washington will be in new hands. But it doesn't look like it's going to be Jeff Bezos.
No,
obviously he's not going to bid, and
he doesn't want any of that tainted
Tillman Fertitta.
No, they don't want anything to do with it.
He wouldn't go over $5.6 billion. In the
billion?
Deal. Billion, my friend. Billion, my friend. So, yes, billions and billions of dollars being thrown around. That's when I'll give you the number here coming up, but staggering what Daniel Snyder paid for the team, what he's going to sell it for. It's like it's a ridiculous profit margin that he's going to make on that deal, for sure. But a lot in there, including the Longhorn situation. That one came, I was talking to Craig Way yesterday, and when the A.J. Johnson news came down, he said he wasn't surprised because he had heard that a week or so ago, and the team we talked to some of the coaches that they had heard that A.J. Johnson. Remember, Rodney Terry flew out to Los Angeles last week as part of a recruiting trip, and I think part of it was to visit with A.J. Johnson and make a last pitch. But all in all, fell on deaf ears because the high school player is going to head straight to Australia to play professional basketball, and as we found out yesterday, he's going to make upwards of $750,000 to play hoops for a year, and then
that's hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean NIL, you can make some money and cash in, but I don't know if you can make it to the tune of $750,000. And this is, there was a lot of going back and forth on Twitter. The sky is falling conversations because look, since Rodney Terry took the team, there have been a lot of exodus, and there hasn't been a lot of anybody coming into the program, which makes people nervous. Same time, as I argued on Twitter, Buck, the same thing would have happened if Chris Beard were still the coach. Same thing would have happened if they had hired a new coach. I mean, that's just where this stands. All of these things were somewhat predictable that, Dylan Mitchell and Tyrese Hunter wanted to test the draft waters. Arterio Morris maybe didn't feel like he was a fit here and wanted to go somewhere else. Rowan Brumbaugh wanted to get back to the East Coast. And that's the one that, had Chris Beard still been the coach here, that maybe Brumbaugh, because he was a Beard recruit out of the East Coast, and he heads back. But all the others, Dylan DeSue still yet to make a decision.
That's the one that will really hurt.
And everything I've heard on that is positive, that there is the expectation. Now, Dylan DeSue is going to just continue to test the professional waters, what is out there for him, and he's listening to advisors on his best course of action. Because remember, Dylan last year, along with Marcus Carr, they both put their names into the NBA draft conversation, much like Tyrese Hunter and Dylan Mitchell have done this year. Both got the report back and both came back and were stars for Texas. But, point of fact, when this season ended, you knew there was going to be a lot of attrition on the roster just because you had, 4 key seniors that were done and were moving on, and then the others had decisions to make, and so far they've all, chosen to explore their options. Now, Tyrese Hunter could return, right? I think there's a lot of thought that Tyrese Hunter is going to hear back from the NBA. It'll be much like Marcus Carr last year. Hey, go back, work on this. We want to see you get better in this realm. We want to see, because Tyrese Hunter's still just a 6-foot guard who's going to have to improve in key places. The one with Dylan Mitchell is the one that's maybe a coin flip at this point because, as we heard from our friend Jerry Hamilton yesterday from Inside Texas, and he's tied in on these things, he said, in the NBA draft thing, if you get a promise from a team that we're going to take you in the second round and put you in the G League and let you develop, that's all it'll take for Dylan Mitchell to say, okay, I'm going to do that. I'll take, the second round deal. I'll play in the G League and work my way that direction. But he also could explore, and then if he doesn't get that promise, could jump back and be a part of the roster next year. So, the fluid nature of rosters for Rodney Terry, it's similar to when Chris Beard took the job 2 years ago. The only player he knew he had coming back was Brock Cunningham.
Right.
That was it. And he had to go build the roster from there. Rodney Terry in a very similar spot.
Well, yeah, you're going to you're going to be in that portal. That thing, when that thing is open, you need to be deep in it. And it doesn't matter what division they play in. If they're good basketball players, you see it all over the nation.
Well,
you've got to have guards.
Got to have guards. And that's
you just have to have that.
That's what the Longhorns had. The Longhorns made their run to the Elite Eight, and who knows if the injuries don't hit with Dylan DeSue, if they could have made the Final Four, then that's what that team was built for, right? It was a very veteran team, 22, 23-year-old players, a lot of seniors, a lot of leadership, a lot of guard play, and then in the end of the year, Dylan DeSue, breaks out and plays great, and all of a sudden you're into the Elite Eight and Sweet 16. Well, now again, there was an expectation of mass attrition just based on the older players.
Yeah, and a lot of older players are in that portal. There are a lot of old. You can still come back with a veteran group if you can get a couple veteran guards that have been around for a while.
Well, the core of this team was built right through the portal. But again, if you're going to recruit 5-star kids, right, that in their minds and then the circle of
they're
friends,
going to look every year.
They're one and done kind of guys, right? Dylan Mitchell was a super, 4th-rated prospect in the country. A.J. Johnson, him going to play professionally is not surprising because, one of the reasons A.J. Johnson from Los Angeles committed to play for Texas, and let's not forget Rodney Terry was the lead recruiter on A.J. Johnson because he had known his brother, Jalen Green, who plays for the Houston Rockets, is a family friend, but for folks who know A.J. Johnson, it's akin to a big brother relationship that he has with the Rockets guard, swingman. And so, and when Rodney Terry was at Fresno State, he recruited Jalen Green and started at a young age. So that relationship had been built, and then Rodney Terry recruited A.J. Johnson. They got the commitment, but the similarity is that Jalen Green also didn't go to college. He went straight to the G League and now is starring with the Houston Rockets and was drafted out of the G League under that developmental program for the NBA. His brother, or little brother as they would say, father figure, he's going to do a similar thing and go play professionally in Australia. So again, I would read that as that's not about Texas. That's not about Rodney Terry. That's about
you have to. Your thoughts of allegiance to your universities aren't like it used to be, dude.
No,
if they have intentions and people are telling them they can be an NBA player, their allegiance to you is about 1 year.
Yeah.
Wait, so him and Jalen Green aren't actual brothers?
No. It's they're family friends, but very, very close, and it almost
they're
like
brothers.
I thought they were actual brothers.
You thought they were brothers?
Yeah.
He's like a brother.
Everything I've read is it's akin to a big brother. So, but I don't know the relationship, but I know when he picked Texas, he wanted to be closer to his big brother down in Houston, playing for the Houston Rockets, and the Longhorns and Rodney Terry won that commitment along with Chris Beard.
Then somebody said, "Here's $700,000,
$750 for a year,
$750 buy,"
and then you're still likely to be a high pick in the NBA draft. And think about that. I mean, if he comes to Texas, I think most people saw A.J. Johnson as a player who could be like Arterio Morris was this year, right? A 10 to 12 minute guy who brings some athleticism but still has a lot to learn, because the expectation would have been Arterio Morris is the one that develops and becomes a core guard in your backcourt along with Tyrese Hunter, kind of running the show back there. But obviously Arterio Morris has other plans, and that's the one.
You have to have plan B and C now as a college basketball coach.
Well,
or a football coach. You have to have all these different plans set aside. I mean, you just, as I said, you're even now the high school allegiance where you're thinking, oh, they're coming because they love the university. Well, you find out pretty quickly they love it just as long as, the year is up, and then they can go find out.
Well, yeah, you like the school, but he was coming to here to be closer to his big brother, Jalen Green down in Houston. I love the program and the coaches, but in the end, come here, play 10, 12 minutes, or go play in Australia for $750,000. That doesn't seem like a hard decision, but either way, they're just kids that don't want to play school, Buck. They want to go play basketball, and
for sure,
you can debate whether that's the right decision or not for a young man or young person, but that's the decision to be made. They have options, and those are the options. As for the Longhorns, obviously Rodney Terry and the staff have a lot of work to do to build this roster, but again, we just saw it happen 2 years ago with Chris Beard when only Brock Cunningham was coming back, and they built the core of a team that had a good one year and won a game in the tournament, and then the next year, with some other additions and another year on the program, made a run to the Elite Eight and almost the Final Four. So that's going to be the task of Rodney Terry.
And you have to recruit these kind of superstars. You can't win with just those blue collar workers in basketball. You need stars.
Yeah,
you need some studs.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to do both. And now Ron Holland from Duncanville is a stud.
Yes,
because unlike A.J. Johnson, who I think you would see as a guy a 10 to 15 minute kind of player, Ron Holland is, by all accounts, a guy who can come here and be, play 25 minutes a game and be a really impactful player as a freshman out of Duncanville. He can be a core foundational piece this year, especially if Dylan DeSouza will return, Tyrese Hunter. Obviously, we'll find that out as time goes. I did talk to someone who talked to one of the Longhorn assistant coaches yesterday, and he said, I told him, your sky is falling in Longhorn land. What's going on? And he said, no, we're good. We're good. So I think they feel confident that they have some prospects to bring in, because that's just the way the game is played right now. You're constantly adding to your roster.
Right.
And then you make your run, and not to say this is going to happen, but on the women's side, the LSU team for Kim Mulkey just won the national championship with 9 transfer players.
Right.
9 transfer players into the program, and most of a good chunk of them came in last offseason, and they won the Natty. So that's on the women's side, different animal, but at the same time, it's the way of college basketball for sure right now, that the portal it giveth and it taketh away, as I heard Rod Baber say yesterday, and you better get in it. And that's where the Longhorn fans are concerned, is they've seen a lot of guys jumping out, and they haven't seen anybody jumping in just yet. I would say tap the brakes on that, and let's wait and see what that looks like, because we know the Longhorns and their staff are out, recruiting those players. And you do know Ron Holland is coming to play from Duncanville, and you do know that Tyrese Hunter, there's kind of a feel that he'll be back, and everything I've heard on Dylan DeSouza is positive, that they feel like he is going to be back for another year playing for the Longhorns. So we will follow it as it ever changes, the face of college basketball as we get this thing cranking up. So spring game tomorrow, going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to go to the game, or you're going to be watching it on the LA Channel?
I think I'm going to go and then take off and head down to where I was going to go, to Barton Springs. So, yeah.
To suck on the cactuses?
Well, dude, I don't need to be there for 4 quarters to find out what's going on tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a good thing that'll be on. I know Gary Patterson, who's no longer with the program, he always hated the game to be on TV. He said, we get scouted that way. I would be scouted. That's what I do. I watch anyone I can get my eyes on. If we're going to be playing them, I scout them. But it'll be on LHN tomorrow. Obviously the things you can see is the trench play, what goes on in the interior and offensive and defensive lines. The quarterback spinning it, and I know you'll be watching the running backs.
Oh yeah, I want to see what Baxter's all about. It's always interesting when a young running back comes in. Is he going to be the bell cow? Can he be the bell cow? When will he start to get the kind of carries that you like to see from him after a couple nice runs? So this will be interesting, and they've got 2 or 3 guys, and
C.J. Baxter is the freshman. You wonder how much you'll see Jonathan Brooks in this game tomorrow.
I don't care. I've seen enough of him to know that he's pretty good.
Yeah, we saw him excel in the bowl game and the loss. Those are the kind of guys. But then I think the name most people are going to be really paying attention to is Savion Red,
right?
The converted wide receiver who's really a running quarterback who played 1 year of wide receiver and now is back to running and has gotten rave reviews so far for his work in the spring. So you've got Savion Red, Jaden Blue, Jonathan Brooks, Cedric Baxter Jr., Keelan Robinson, and not likely to play. Don't expect to see him, but we know what he can do, right?
Right, we know what he is. We know what Jonathan Brooks is.
Jonathan Brooks, Jaden Blue, Savion Red, Cedric Baxter likely to be the primary ball carriers. Jonathan Brooks may get some carries, but he's coming off hernia surgery, so they've been careful with him all the way through. But what you really want to see is, what the offensive line looks like in front, right? Because if like we've heard that they have done through the scrimmages that we haven't been able to go to, that you're putting your one offensive line against the two defensive line in a lot of cases. Well, which because you would expect to dominate that, correct? If you've got your number one offensive line going against mostly the number two defense,
yes,
you would hope to see that be ability to move people and run the ball, because that second team defensive line still good, but not the front line starters. But we'll see.
Not with a group who's played together for a year on the offensive line. They're all coming back.
Yeah, well, exactly. But, the Cole Hudson at right guard has not been in camp, so that's been a battle between DJ Campbell and Cam Williams. So if you're going to the game or watching, pay attention to who's playing on the interior. Because I think it's pretty settled that Kelvin Banks is going to play left tackle and Christian Jones is going to play right tackle. There's a high likelihood that Jake Majors is your starting center again for the third straight year. The questions come at left guard and right guard. Who are going to be the starters in that role? I know Kyle Flood wants to have 7 or 8 guys he can rotate in there, but he wants a core 5. And which guys emerge? Hayden Connor is likely to be.
Yeah, he played all the games last year.
All of them, but there's competition behind him. Remember, DJ Campbell was a 5-star kid out of Arlington, number 1 interior offensive lineman in the state, one of the best in the nation. He's pushing for a spot. And then there's a guy like the massive Cam Williams, who's kind of cross-training at guard and tackle. And again, Cole Hudson has been out, so he hasn't been practicing through the spring. So who takes that spot? Because when they come back in the fall, Cole Hudson's going to want to come back and win that job again. So I'll be watching interior offensive line, obviously the quarterback and running back play. And then on the defensive side, let's see who stands out on that side. Because
you want to see young linebackers run.
Yep. Anthony Hill Jr., the 5-star freshman, Byron Murphy, Steve Sarkisian has raved about him throughout the camp, being unblockable. How about Alfred Collins? Is he bringing it on a consistent basis from the interior? And then, obviously, the big story of the spring is which player has excelled on the edges, getting off the edge, setting the edge, and then rushing
Alfred
the pass.
Collins to dominate. I don't care which team is up now. This is his time of his career. He should be dominating.
If you reverse
I don't care who he's going against.
If he's on the first team defensive line, he would likely be facing the second team offensive line for big stretches of this. You'd hope to think he would dominate that.
Yes, for sure.
Because those are going to be young players. But as Sark has said, they couldn't have a game last year because they only had 7. Didn't have enough offensive linemen. This year they've got 15. And as he said, we can almost go 3 deep with an offensive line right now. So they feel really good about their ability to get after it tomorrow and have a pretty physical, intense practice or scrimmage, but have a score and have a game and see who can win it. Orange versus white tomorrow. Powered by the Texas One Fund. Coming back, we'll pick up these conversations. Your thought on Longhorn Hoops, what you're looking at the spring game tomorrow. We'll get into the NFL draft, which is in 2 weeks. There is some intel rolling in on that. And plenty of baseball. You got the Longhorns in Waco, the Lone Star Series, and the Tampa Rays can set, an historic record tonight when they play a game in Toronto. We'll get to all that. Just getting warmed up on a busy Friday here on B&E. Thanks for being with us.
Texas football coach Steve Sarkisian.
This looks like my team. And it's year 3. I said it feels and looks like my team. The way the players talk, the way they act, what they look like, the way they move, the way they run, how we practice, the speed, the tempo, all of those things, man, I'm like, okay, now we're about ready to go. This is what it's supposed to look like.
The Texas Spring Game, Saturday at 1. Pre-game at 11 a.m. from Bevo Boulevard on the Horn.
Dr. Greg Eckert, folks, Dr. G, or Dr. U as I call him, because it is Eckert with the U. I always want you to remember that. Sometimes you go Googling for Dr. Eckert and you're looking for an E. It's Ueckert. You should know, though, 27 years, going on 28 years right here in Central Texas. He is Austin's dentist. He is my dentist. And as I've told you, the ability to get a brand new smile in one day is just you can talk to Dr. Eckert about it. I mean, I'm blown away by how we can change people's lives in one simple visit. And it's really incredible. And I'm going to do some work with Dr. Eckert in one day where I'll get some of my teeth rebuilt a little bit, and they're going to do some rebuilding, which I'm excited about. But you can too. You can get a brand new smile. I'm not going to the full bore of it's kind of starting over in a lot of cases, but he can do that, or he can do some work for you. But it only takes a day. That's the key. that you don't have to, plan this thing for months at a time and how it's going to be. You spend a lot of time without teeth and the pain and the discomfort of that. It's a one-day process with permanently secured dental implants. They do have the technology, and they can help you with that right now at Dr. Greg Eckert's office. All you have to do is call him, set up a conversation, and say, hey, I heard you talking about a new smile in a day. Talk about the confidence you'll have walking out, the ability to eat and chew without pain if that's a problem for you right now, and just the great look of that perfect smile that you've been looking for and hoping for. They can deliver it to you. 345-3166 is the phone number. That's 345-3166. Or just go online. Dr. Greg Eckert. It's dreckert.com. Druckert. It's Dr. Greg Eckert. It's Eckert with a U. One more time. Ueckert.
Call A-Plus Air Conditioning, 512-450-1980 for fast service, seasonal checkups, and affordable prices on Linux systems. You can't do better than A-Plus.
On the northbound side of I-35, this is coming up from northern Hayes County to Slaughter. It's starting to slow down here. Routine delays kicking in after the overnight construction's been picked up. Did have a crash reported southbound on the interstate near Breaker Lane. Still have some residuals because of that. It's been on the board for quite a little while here. We're going to continue to watch that one for you, but otherwise, just kind of the routine delays around town for this time of day. I'm Don Miller, and that's your traffic.
Most in the greater Austin area know that it's quite stressful trying to maintain a quality lawn. The answer is to hire the best local lawn care company, us. This is Terry with Weedman Lawn Care of Austin. Our turf management PhD trains outstanding techs and buys only the best of products. We make your yard greener, thicker, more kid-friendly. Strive to be weed-free and do so with an environmentally sound approach to lawn care. Suzanne M. of Hutto says, our family has been very happy with the Weedman. Had lots of weeds, not anymore. I love these guys, very helpful and great. Thanks, Suzanne. Go to WeedmanUSA.com today for a free quote and see how we'll relieve your lawn care stress. Weedman is recommended by landscapers, golf course superintendents, and people like Valerie Kay of Leander. This is Valerie, and I just called to say I love you. You do a great job, and everyone I come in contact with is so nice and helpful. That's quite a compliment. Go to WeedmanUSA.com for a free quote. Lawn care companies are not all alike. Go to WeedmanUSA.com today.
If the price you see is the price you want to pay, come see Henna Chevrolet.
I went to sign the papers for a new Tahoe and saw the price jumped almost $4,000. I thought it was a typo, but turns out it's for overpriced add-ons like tent and floor mats. So I called Henna, got a price, brought a check, and left with the Tahoe.
For a lower price made clear, find new roads at HennaChevyAustin.com. Did you know there are two things people realize when buying a bed? Mattress research is hard, and everything sounds the same. So, how do you find the right mattress? Simple. Just follow the science to Factory Mattress. At Factory Mattress, our exclusive Right Fit mattress matching technology uses science, not salesmen, to take the guesswork out of mattress shopping. Plus, come experience Smart Life, the auto-adjusting, no-compromising bed of the future.
My Factory Mattress.
Upgrade to a smarter night's sleep this weekend, and we'll pay the sales tax, while you save up to 53% on over $170,000 in closeouts, with 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, get it home smarter, not harder, with free next-day delivery, setup, and removal. Experience the benefits of deep, restorative sleep by finding the right mattress today. Shop smarter, sleep better at Factory Mattress, for the love of sleep.
My Factory Mattress. O'Reilly.
Protect your engine better with new Syntec Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec High Mileage is formulated for today's engines with over 75,000 miles. Now get 5 quarts of Syntec High Mileage and a MicroGuard Select oil filter for just $34.99. Limits apply. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Has anyone seen Roger? Where's Roger? It's time to open the jewelry store.
Where is everyone?
Did they all take the day off?
At traditional jewelry stores everywhere, employees are quiet quitting and going to Diamonds Direct. Not just to work, but to shop. That's because even with employee discounts, Diamonds Direct offers all shoppers better selection and much better value. As a true direct importer of diamonds, Diamonds Direct has long-standing relationships deep in the world diamond industry, as well as the best diamond cutters across the globe, so they can say the quiet part out loud without the middleman markups. Diamonds Direct offers customers bigger, higher quality diamonds at a lower cost trust every day. Not to mention the best selection, the best customer service, best warranties, and best overall experience. Hello? Quiet quit paying too much for your diamonds. Go to Diamonds Direct. You won't be alone in how happy you are. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
I'm Jenny, Senior Designer for Cleo & Wolf, and this is Behind the Designs with Boot Barn. Cleo & Wolf is a vintage-inspired, effortless collection with a country sensibility. Each design is thought out and crafted so that it becomes a special staple in her wardrobe. Even if it's just an article of clothing, there's so much meaning to that. In her most authentic, natural state is where her beauty and her confidence lives. Cleo & Wolf, only at Boot Barn.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
It's Bucky and Erin.
Appreciate the folks with the Specs text line that DJ Campbell, the Longhorn guard, is not going to play in the spring. He's got to underwent a minor surgical procedure. He won't play, so it's going to be Cam Williams, the big man out of Duncanville. Longhorns doing very well with that Duncanville pipeline, by the way, in football and basketball. But DJ Campbell will not participate tomorrow. Hayden Connor likely the starting left guard. Cam Williams next to Christian Jones at right guard when the Longhorns hit the field at the spring game, orange-white spring game at 1 o'clock tomorrow. By the way, Daniel Snyder bought the Washington Redskins at the time, Buck, for $800 million. $800 million. He will sell it for $6.05 billion, essentially 24 years later.
He got paid to drive a franchise into the ground.
That's right.
A lot of money.
A lot of money, and the group is led by Josh Harris, but also Magic Johnson. Big Magic Johnson is a part of that group. Mitchell Rales, $6 billion plus.
$6 billion.
I mean, we just saw the Denver Broncos sold for north of $4 billion, but obviously this is in our nation's capital, and it's a historic franchise.
Oh yeah.
But that Daniel Snyder has done his best to ruin, and that's why I think a lot of people are happy that it's going to fall into different hands and leadership. And Big Magic Johnson got his hands in everything, doesn't he? Got a little bit of everything.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
He's got AIDS.
No, come on, Don. What has he done?
Magic. What's he done lately?
Buying everything.
Buying everything.
Guy's a part of everything is going on out there. But let's hope that goes through and that they can vote on it by the owners' meetings in May, and it'll be all concluded. There'll be new owners. There'll be 2 new teams with brand new ownerships with Denver and Washington, and that's where the NFL stands. We're 2 weeks that NFL draft, by the way. I did see, one of the guys, you got to pick the people you really go with on the NFL draft analysis. And this guy, Matt Miller, who has been really good for a long time. He started his own website, NFL Draft Scout, and now he's been picked up by ESPN. He's done such a good job. And you see him now pretty frequently on the 4-letter, giving his analysis along with Todd McShay and Mel Kiper and that crew. But Matt Miller is one that is adding fire or logs to the fire that the Texans aren't going quarterback at 2. He says the Texans love Will Anderson Jr., have a super high grade on him. They don't have nearly as high a grade on C.J. Stroud, which is this is what's leading to the conversation of Houston coming off quarterback. Do we take our best player, who can be a franchise-altering defensive player for us, we believe, and pass on a quarterback who we have some doubts about?
So they expect to be in the hunt for a quarterback the following year again.
Yeah, no, they'll grab Will Levis in the middle of the first round.
Here we go, Mr. Mayonnaise. Yeah, I mean, it's again.
You would have to be happy with that if you got Will Anderson and Will Levis.
No.
Yeah, well, I would be happy if I got.
No,
somebody's got
to be happier with Bucky's
one of the two have to be
suggestion.
a star, or what you're doing. You're saying you're not tanking, but you're really getting ready for the following year because you're going to win 4 games.
Well, look, if you get a star player at a cornerstone position or an elite position in
star
football,
player, like Will Anderson, if he's going to be your star player,
you got to have a pass rusher in the NFL.
Right.
mean, look at what Micah Parsons did for the Cowboys when he joined that defense. It was a wretched defense, and now, he along with DeMarcus Lawrence and what Dan Quinn has done schematically.
I may be the only one that is not really sold on Will Anderson. Last year was just not good for me to watch him.
Well, the junior tape was unbelievable, right? The junior film.
Yeah, he was.
When he had 17 and a half sacks.
He was unstoppable. You're right.
And teams game plan for him, right? The other side guy had a better year. It's a lot of had better games because they were double teaming and really understood we cannot let Will Anderson wreck our game. And he didn't have his best year, right? He had a lot of penalties, a lot of offsides because I think he was a little bit frustrated. He was trying to get that first step and live up to the billing. But we know Nick Saban has had heaped praise on him for what type of leadership.
Yeah, he has ever since he got there.
Yeah, and going into this year with Will Anderson and Bryce Young, Nick Saban said he's never had a team with the leadership like this from their two best players on either side of the ball. And obviously they fell short this year. They lost 2 games on the game's final play and kind of lived by the skin of their teeth all year long. But Will, again, the disappointing part for a Texans fan would be that you screwed up the end of the year, because if we are all consensus that Bryce Young's the best quarterback in this draft, which is where we're headed, well, then you blew the opportunity to draft your quarterback. And now you have to make that decision, which should have never happened. You should be the team sitting there with the 1 pick drafting Bryce Young, who by all accounts is going to be the quarterback of this draft. And as an organization, you screwed it up again. Because who knows how next year goes, and who knows if you draft Will Levis. I mean, these are just and obviously the Bryce Young thing is a who knows factor too. But by all accounts, he's the highest graded quarterback by everybody.
So if they don't do that, who is their quarterback going into this year?
Davis Mills and Case Keenum.
Yuck.
Yeah, and that's where you would sit.
Oh boy, point. Would you be pissed as a fan?
Yeah. Thank you, Lovey, and Nick Caserio, who now again the reports that he's going to be gone, that he's going to
go to New England.
Well, again, D'Amico Ryans is the new coach. They brought in a new staff. This is a whole new group. Already reports out of the West Coast that he wants to hire one of John Lynch's top lieutenants to be the general manager with familiarity and, in sync of how you build a roster and build a team. And that Nick Caserio could be on his way to New England to rejoin Bill Belichick. And that would happen after the draft because Caserio's been in charge with the scouts and, building the draft board and all of those things. That's the other part of the Will Anderson story. If you're D'Amico Ryans and there is doubt about the quarterback, one of the reasons San Francisco has been such a dominant team in the NFC has been their defensive line and their ability to rush the passer. If you have what you think is an elite, you could see D'Amico Ryans kind of pounding the table for that, saying, hey, look.
For sure.
If you guys are not sold on quarterback.
I'm sold on this guy.
I wasn't here to be part of screwing up the end of the year, so we can't have the 1 pick now. We got to settle.
But I'm going to make the decision on the defensive guy that I'm looking for.
Let's go defense because this is my first year, and I'm building this thing, and I'm going to build it from the ground up. I know, but again, they could absolutely hand in the card for C.J. Stroud and say, let's go with C.J. and go with that.
I don't know about work ethic and everything else, but that kid from Georgia, I have a hard time passing up on that guy if he's available, which he probably will Carter. Be. Yes, a big guy like that on the defensive line.
Yeah, well, I mean,
as I said, Will Anderson just didn't do very much for me last year, and I've seen him before, and he just didn't look like the same dude. But Carter always looks like the same dude.
Yeah,
even when he's
War
running
Daddy.
the other way from trouble.
War Daddy.
Yeah,
look, I think Will Anderson, the metrics would tell you that he is an elite pass rusher by pressure rate, by sacks, numbers. I mean, greater than that of the Boses when they were coming out at Ohio State, greater than Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, his overall pass rush resume and as a college player is more elite than those guys, and they're really good. So, and I trust your scouting eye, just watching games. Same time, the numbers would tell you that Will Anderson is on par or even better than those guys. So
he reminds me a lot of the kid who was at, who is it? Is it the Giants? Their first round pick that came out of Oregon?
Kayvon Thibodeau.
He reminds me a little bit of that dude. There's something about him that's just doesn't.
Kayvon Thibodeau was good this year. I mean, there were some doubts
and he played hurt off that knee when he hurt his knee. He came back pretty strong.
Him coming out of the draft last year, the knock on him was that he didn't care
about football.
Yeah, but it's clear that he does, and he's very good.
When he came off that injury list, I mean, he came out just flying all around with a bad knee.
Yeah, Thibodeau.
There hasn't been anything about this kid and his ability that he likes to play football, Will Anderson.
Yeah. Well, it's just a screw-up by a screw-up organization, and they should be drafting Bryce Young, and that's really unfortunate. And again, the tail of the tape would be, if you know the franchise's history, that Bryce Young will go on and be really good for the Carolina Panthers, and you'll have to live with that, man, we screwed up Week 18, and now the Panthers have a franchise quarterback, and we still do not. But that's the life of a Texans fan.
But do you feel like that you've got 4 franchise quarterbacks, but there's a couple that are just not ready to play
I think
immediately?
History would tell you there are not going to be 4 franchise quarterbacks in this draft. There's going to be one great one, and then a couple might be all right. I mean, good, quality starting players, and then one's going to be a bust.
I think it'll be a lot like the Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen draft.
Well, because you're comparing
It'll
Will
take
Levis
a little
to
bit.
Josh Allen.
Everybody's going to take a little bit.
No one else is, by the way. You are. No one else is.
Arm strength, about the same.
But arm strength does not make a quarterback.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, everyone thought Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield were the gems of the draft, and neither of those. I mean, quality starters. They're still in the league. Sam Darnold might start some games for San Francisco.
Well, they've both been busts for where they were drafted.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
let's just say that. But I think Bryce Young is greater than either of the 2 guys you mentioned, and I think just Bryce Young's just a special player. His only question is health, right? If his size does not become a problem for him, staying, playing for 17 weeks or 18 weeks of a season.
Yeah, once he understands what you're trying to do offensively, he'll be fine.
No, his ability to stay calm in chaos is incredible. His ability to manage the pocket. Now, that's in college, right? These are bigger, faster players, and
sure,
he's got to show that. So no quarterback. I mean, gosh, maybe no quarterback comes with a guarantee that he's going to be great. And
if you told me that the Texans had really, really weapons at running back and wide receiver, then I would say go get Lamar.
Well,
but they don't. There's nothing. You bring Lamar there, you don't have anything.
They traded their best weapon to the Cowboys, and Brandon Cooks.
Well, I'm big on Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'd love them to get him with that second pick, but they've got all kinds of needs. So that's and look, if the reports are true that Nick Caserio is leaving when the draft is over, well, that means there's kind of dissension in the room. There's not who's making the pick.
Yeah, that's right. Who is making
making the pick, and who is in charge, and what is happening here?
I think they're going to let the head coach do a lot when they brought him in.
I think so too, because that's your future. If Caserio is not part of your future, and he's overseeing the rebuild, and
if it's not going to be quarterback, he's taking a defensive guy. He's not messing around. He's been around some pretty good defenses. So
well, and that's kind of an argument for D'Amico is he's seen it. We didn't have elite quarterback play with Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy, and we were on the way to the Super Bowl and went to the Super Bowl. We need to build lines of scrimmage. We need to build pass rush. We need to build from the inside out. And again,
you got a fantastic young cornerback you got last year,
Derek Stingley. And this is D'Amico's team now, and it's going to be in his vision.
And it will be defensive.
Well, potentially. We'll see where this goes. That's 2 weeks out now. But that's the report from Matt Miller that they covet Will Anderson, not so sure about C.J. Stroud. All right, we'll be back. We'll pick those up. We'll dive back into your B&E facts of the day, including Bucky's Yankees getting run-ruled yesterday. What's going on in New York? We'll give you the numbers on the Tampa Rays and their historic start. We're also going to hear from Steve Sarkisian in the Coach's Corner coming up, previewing the spring game. And then a great guest lineup is going to roll through this morning on a Friday, getting you into your weekend here on B&E. First, here's Craig.
It's time for the Craig Way Sports Report. Now, here's Craig Way.
The area's 2 Division I collegiate athletic programs have busy weekends on tap. In softball, Texas State is at first place Louisiana this weekend in Sun Belt Conference play, while Texas will host Kansas at McCombs Field tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. You can hear all 3 games on 105.3 The Bat. In baseball, Texas State hosts Marshall, while Texas travels to Waco today to open a 3-game weekend series at Baylor tonight. You can hear that one on The Horn, 104.9 FM. And tomorrow afternoon, it's the end of spring football practice for the Longhorns with the annual orange-white spring game on the UT campus. So much talk among fans and media about Texas quarterbacks Quinn Ewers, Malik Murphy, and Arch Manning making big plays. But head coach Steve Sarkisian says it's more about avoiding the big mistakes.
One of the things I assess a lot is can they not make a bad play worse? And when we use the adage, don't turn an fender bender into fatalities. Bad things happen in football. Guys miss blocks. Guys run the wrong routes. We don't. That's going to happen. It's okay to throw the ball away. They might know a screen is coming. Throw the ball away. Not throwing it to a defensive lineman, because those can be catastrophic errors. And the guys that can do that, that's a positive sign, because those are winning plays as well. As important as it is to throw that post route for a touchdown, it's equally as important not to force a ball into coverage when you're backed up and all of a sudden you throw a pick six.
You'll be able to hear tomorrow's spring game on the Horn with coverage beginning at 11 a.m. and the kickoff at 1 o'clock. And coming this afternoon, Coach Sark discusses what will comprise the spring game. That's in our next report. I'm Craig Way.
The Craig Way Sports Report.
We had a crash reported on the southbound side of I-35 near Breaker Lane. This happened around 3 o'clock this morning. Now, they cleared the crash, but apparently there was some damage to the road. And that, folks, is still going on. So we have a part of a lane blocked off there. And that's the reason why things are extra heavy through that region coming down from Wells Branch to Palmer to Breaker. It's going to be extra slow for a while longer. We'll continue to follow that story for you. Another story, unfortunately, is an auto pedestrian collision that occurred, serious injuries. This is Moore Road near FM 973 on the southeast side. So, again, there's going to be some slowdowns through there, too. I'm Don Miller, and that's your traffic.
Mike Harge here for Allstat Beer. No impurities, no regrets. Allstat has a beer for everyone, whether it's an Allstat Light, Lager, Kolsch, or even an Amber. Allstat Brewery, German beer made here right in the heart of the Texas Hill Country. They only use fine German hops, malts, and yeast, and of course, that natural spring water. Allstat Brewery, German beer made here that I want you to enjoy. Allstat Beer, no impurities, no regrets.
Craig Way for Divided Sky Roofing and Solar, where you can trust John Hardy to give you an honest assessment if you need a new roof. All solar products are eligible for a 30% tax credit with no money down and as little as $100 per month. With solar shingles, you own your own power. You're paying yourself each month, not the power company. Just a 15-minute phone call with Divided Sky can get you all the info you need on a new roof with solar shingles. Get in touch with them today. 512-995-ROOF or DividedSkyAustin.com. TEC license number 37397.
Put your green thumb to work this spring with Callahan's General Store for all of your garden needs. The wide variety of tomatoes, peppers, and other plants from Callahan's, adding raised garden beds is a great way to maximize your garden space. And Callahan's General Store can help you do it. They have everything you need to get started, including all the tips and hints you'll need from the experts along the way. Get your hands dirty and watch your gardens grow with Callahan's General Store, still there at 501 Bastrop Highway between downtown and the airport. Remember, make it a Callahan's Day. If you have joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Aaron Hogan, and that is absolutely what you should do. The folks at QC Kinetics use the latest and most advanced regenerative treatments to bring you lasting pain relief the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your body's own healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. And QC Kinetics has hundreds of clients all over America, about thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond the steroids and the surgeries and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year when the weather has turned, you need to be living your life to the fullest and doing all the things you love to do. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to at least check it out? So do it today. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation, just a free sit down at 512-593-4303, 512-593-4303. They have a location in Austin and in Round Rock. It's QC Kinetics.
When it comes to selling your car, the easy money is at Henna Chevrolet.
I was getting my car appraised at CarMax when I saw Henna's giant billboard offering $500 more than CarMax and thought, why not? It's a 10-minute drive. Now I've got an extra $500 in my pocket thanks to Henna.
Just present your written appraisal offer within 7 days and you'll get $500 more, guaranteed. Come get your money at HennaChevyAustin.com. Find new roads.
Sue Patrick first opened her doors in Austin, Texas in 1975. Wait till you hear what Sue Patrick and her son Jay Willems have now. So good, I went and got me one right away. And you're going to want it if you're a Texas Longhorn baseball fan. They're Nike replica jerseys. You can get them in burnt orange, white, or ivory. And what I got, the throwback, the vintage look in ivory with real thin burnt orange pinstripes. Oh, so good. It's got the applique letters, not the screened-on stuff. Spells Texas across the front and the center, the Nike embroidered swoosh, an embroidered Longhorn logo, left sleeve, an embroidered American flag. It's made out of that patented dry-fit poly-moisture wicking material, so it'll be good all year. It's the same one our championship athletes are wearing. It's engineered for you, sizes small through 3X right now at Sue Patrick. They're in North Austin on Burnett Road at North Loop Boulevard. Park right in front of the door. SuePatrick.com. I said SuePatrick.com.
The Horns text line is brought to you by Specs, a Texas-sized selection of wines, spirits, finer foods, and specialty beers. Cheers to savings. It's Bucky and Erin.
B&A on a Friday. It's our Facts of the Day segment. Fact, Odell Beckham will wear number 3 for the Baltimore Ravens, number 3. But he did say yesterday at his introductory press conference that he has no assurance. He says, I'd love to play with Lamar Jackson, but upon signing, I've been given no assurances that he will be here if that stalemate continues.
No, because I'll take that money they offer my old ass.
He got more than most expected, $18 million
for sure
for 1 year. Also a fact, Tampa Bay 13-0 to start the baseball season. They've outscored their opponents 101-30.
Come on, Sox. Really?
101-30. That's a 71-run differential. Not just winning, but dominating. Again, they swept the Sox 9-3 yesterday.
Look who's in last place in the East?
Boston.
The Boston Red Sox.
Now, the Yankees are in second place, tied with Toronto, who the Rays will play tonight. This will be the toughest test for the Rays. They play in Toronto tonight. They're an 8-5 team, the Blue Jays. Your Yankees gave up 9 runs in the first inning. You got bombed. Like they batted around like twice, the Twins did. Like, what are we doing? Come on, Yankees. That was not good. Also a fact, it's a busy weekend here in Austin, Texas. This is one of those weekends, Buck. We have the spring game, which will kick off at 1 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have it live on the Horn. Got a Texas baseball series in Waco. Previewed that yesterday with David Pierce. Down in Houston, there's the Lone Star Series. Houston and the Rangers will play. NBA playoffs start this weekend with 4 first-game ones on Saturday, 4 more Sunday. Also, Austin FC will play Vancouver at Q2 Stadium Saturday night. And you know what's going on out of Coda, Buck.
Oh, yeah. MotoGP. Heck yeah.
The motorcycles, the crotch rockets, the speed. That'll be cranking up. So
They're girls.
What?
They're girls. They love that.
Girls come out to watch motorcycle
racing.
Yeah,
they do.
All right. Well, look, that's something for everybody.
That's leathers.
Also on the B&E Facts of the Day, see Rory McIlroy got docked $3 million. $3 million for pulling out of the tournament this weekend. His decision to withdraw from the 2023 RBC Heritage came as a surprise, but the PGA Tour reportedly docked McIlroy $3 million of the $12 million he earned for his finish in the Player Impact Program last year. These players have all agreed, look, if we're going to push you guys and raise the take, right? The pool of money for winning these tournaments.
This is one of our events right here.
Because it's for TV, right? And they want the best players playing, and that's been the decision by the players. It's pushed by the Live Push that this is one of those featured events, and he decided to pull out after his poor performance at Augusta, and he's been docked $3 million. So out there. Pretty good stuff at RBC Heritage. Victor Hovland, 64 yesterday. He is your leader.
There's some good players there.
Everybody. I mean, John Rahm's there. Like, if any player was probably going to pull out, it'd be John Rahm after winning the green jacket and all that comes with that. He said, no, I made a commitment. I'm there. I'm in. Something's between the ears with Rory right now, so we'll keep an eye on that going forward. But, yeah, busy weekend. We're getting you into it. Something for everybody, including the spring game. We'll hear more from Sark and getting you ready for Texas in the orange-white. Texas against Texas in the orange-white scrimmage. Also reset those headlines. Longhorns basketball roster continues to be fluid, and most of it's moving out right now. We'll get you details on that again. So back into the top stories of a busy Friday morning. Ty is back. Buck is here. You are here. It's the show of the people on 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260. Streaming always on the Horn app, on your smart speaker, and on hornfm.com.
Chad and Zay.
You listen start to finish. What'd you think of Appetite?
I could see why a 25-year-old Axel was so popular. I could see why Slash was that dude. I felt what everybody felt. That's a huge rock and roll fan that says this might be the greatest album of all time. I felt that. Night Train, one of the worst songs I've ever heard. Other than that, terrific album.
Night Train might be my favorite song on the record. I love Night Train.
Weekdays 12 to 3 on the Horn.
We had a crash reported on the southbound side of I-35 near Breaker Lane. This happened around 3 o'clock this morning. Now, they cleared the crash, but apparently there was some damage to the road, and that, folks, is still going on. So we have a part of a lane blocked off there, and that's the reason why things are extra heavy through that region coming down from Wells Branch to Palmer to Breaker. It's going to be extra slow for a while longer. We'll continue to follow that story for you. Another story unfortunately, is an auto pedestrian collision that occurred. Serious injuries. This is Moore Road near FM 973 on the southeast side. So, again, there's going to be some slowdowns through there, too. I'm Don Miller, and that's your traffic.
Looking to sell your home on your schedule? Then lock in a guaranteed cash offer from Orchard, and you'll start the spring with a celebration. And here's how. Before Orchard, selling your home was a long, stressful process. We've all been there. But with Orchard's cash offer, you can forget about showings, listings, even upgrades. You don't worry about waiting weeks, even months to sell your home. Orchard's cash offer guarantees the sale of your home and enables you to sell when you're ready. And Orchard can save you even more time and money by recommending and taking care of costly repairs, as well as specific home improvements. And to back me up, here's another 5-star review, this one from Matt here in town. It's hard to put into words how great our experience with Orchard was. First, there was the cash offer that exceeded our expectations. Then we sold our home with them for well above that price. Orchard gives you the certainty that your house will sell without all the hassles of selling it. Orchard's cash offer guarantees the sale of your home and enables you to sell when you're ready. Sell your home on your schedule? Then lock in a guaranteed cash offer from Orchard, and you'll start the spring with a celebration. Get a free, no-obligation guaranteed cash offer from Orchard. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com. One more time, Orchard.com.
It's the perfect time to transform your home or business with fresh new color. The team at CertaPro Painters of Greater Austin handles every detail, worry-free, from start to finish. CertaPro Painters is the painting service you can rely on here in Austin, whether painting inside or out. John Bonnell and his team are ready to protect and beautify your space with a fresh coat of paint. Go with the pros at CertaPro Painters of Austin. Get your painting project started today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Seeking specialized patient-focused orthopedic care? Contact the experts at Texas Orthopedics. Our physicians offer comprehensive surgical and non-surgical orthopedic care for children and adults. Spine care, sports medicine, trauma care, joint replacement, rheumatology, and more. Whether it's a mobility or movement issue or a traumatic injury, our goal is to get you back to good health and quality of life. Visit us at txortho.com to learn more and to schedule an appointment. Texas Orthopedics, the largest independent orthopedic practice in Central Texas.
Some people don't do well under pressure. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we do it best. Whether you're spraying down the shop or getting the winter grime off your house, a Northern Tool pressure washer says you're serious about spring cleaning. From an all-electric power horse to a Honda-powered North Star, we'll help you build your perfect cold or hot water package with all the chemicals, attachments, and everything you need for the job ahead. Northern Tool and Equipment. We're made for this. Now open in Buda and Austin and at northerntool.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The first ever spring extravaganza is coming to Ron Hoover RV and Marine Center this Friday through Sunday. You'll find the best deals on the over 200 RVs, boats, and mowers in stock. Yes, this is better than show pricing and for a limited time only. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there'll be hot dogs on the grill and a live DJ. Plus snow cones Friday and Saturday and ice cream on Sunday. And register for great giveaways. It's the first ever spring extravaganza at Ron Hoover RV and Marine Center, southbound 35 in South Georgetown. Open Sunday, 11 till 3. RonHoover.com.
Gear up, Texas. The Daredevils of MotoGP will ride again at Circuit of the Americas in Austin. It's the World Championship of Motorcycle Racing, featuring the fastest riders on Earth. 3 days of spectacular racing action, demo rides, hundreds of interactive displays, mouth-watering Texas barbecue, cycle corrals, amusement rides, and so much more. MotoGP Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas, April 14th to the 16th. Get tickets now at thecircuit.com.
From the UBO Business Services Studios, you're listening to KTXX FM and HD1 BK, KTAE AM Elgin, K270CO Round Rock. Guests on the horn appear courtesy of the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina Hotline. Vaqueros now delivers and offers curbside pickup. For info on placing your lunch or dinner order, visit vaqueroscafe.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world.
Austin, Texas, baby.
It's Bucky and Erin.
You guys want to play some twos? You know what? Actually, we're kind of in the middle of a conversation.
B&E.
What's B&E?
Bucky Godbolt, Erin Hogan on the Horn, 104.9 AM 1260 and hornfm.com, where the Longhorns play and Austin talks sports.
Start it up. It's your Friday. That means your weekend is here, and it's a busy one, as we just went through in our last segment. A lot happening in and around town, in and around Texas, and looking forward to it. Several of you have already mentioned the Two-Step In Festival up in Georgetown. If you're into music, you've got that covered, too. We've got a big festival up there in Georgetown that everybody's fired up about, and it's got a great lineup, by the way. It really does. Zach Bryan will be a headliner. Tyler Childers, the great country singer out of Kentucky. He'll be out there. Also Midland, who makes their home in Dripping Springs. They're a cool band. So, yeah, there's a lot to do. A lot going on in Austin, and the weather looks great, by the way. It's going to be in the low 90s tomorrow for the spring game. Top about 81 degrees today. But, yeah, this is the headliner there, Buck, at the festival is this guy, Zach Bryan. He's a guy out of Oklahoma, but he's a U.S. Navy veteran who served our country, and then he came back and had written all these songs, and now he's put them. I mean, he has just been like a comet.
Started listening to him like 5 years ago when he was posting the worst quality.
Yeah, he was like singing online, right?
Oh yeah, it was very bad quality for like sound wise, but his voice was so good that
So 5 years ago, he was still in the Navy then doing that.
I mean, right out of it. I think he moved up to like Portland at one point and was just like in this some guy up there built a recording studio in his barn, and he was out there recording for a long time. He's really good. I've followed his career up to this point, and he's going to blow up even bigger, I think.
It's people say you have to say it faster. It's Two-Steppin'. Yeah, the Two-Steppin' Fest. I got
nice.
Because it's written Two-Step In Fest, like it would be an inn and a hotel.
Two-Steppin'.
Two-Steppin'. Well, they should put a hyphen next to it then. Two-Steppin'. Or put the number 2. I get it. I know. I can Can you two-step, by the way?
I still can, yeah.
I got really good at it when I was working
I'm
at
not
the ranch,
smooth. I'm not smooth at it. I have to work at it, but I'm not. I used to be smooth.
I used to be able to do the flip
when I'm
in high school.
Whoa.
When I was,
look at you
doing my musicals and stuff.
Oh, well, you had to do that when you did like the musical, like Oklahoma. When you guys did Oklahoma, you had to be able to flip and do all those kind of things, didn't you? You know, I mean, I'm looking at college basketball and football, and I used to be able to consider myself, but I would still be able, even as an old man, go out and recruit and sell. You have to have a gimmick now. I don't think I could do that. You know, I think I'm not like I'm an old man, but
You wouldn't do TikTok dances, Bucky?
I just don't think I could. There's some gimmick. There's a gimmick to everything. You just can't. It's hard to just sell your university to kids. I mean, now with the portal and stuff, you start dealing with kids. They're not 17 and 18. They're 22. They're 23 already. Some of them already been places, and it's hard for you to sell some other place to them. They're like, dude, I've already been through that. I mean,
you're selling more of a business now.
Yeah. You're selling. You're right, because I'm going to be here a year. What can I do? I need NIL money for 2 years, and then if somebody offers me $700,000, coach, bye to old university. I'm out.
Well, that's the free market right there. I mean, yeah. But at the same time, we'll hear from Steve Sarkisian coming up in our coaches' corner. We'll hear him answer why he feels like what he's got right now is really good, in a good place.
Yeah, and for Rodney Terry, I'm thinking of him. I mean, his coaches, these are the same guys that have to recruit. They have to sell the University of Texas. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to sell. You have to have some other gimmick to go along with just the university, it seems. And your NIL and all that stuff.
I know if I'm with you on the adjective gimmick. Like, we could just define that for me. I don't know what that, like money.
You have to sell more than the university.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
I mean, and yourself. You have to sell. There's got to be something.
And let's also delineate college basketball versus football. In basketball, you have to compete in the marketplace now, right? That's just a fact. Because especially next year when the new collective bargaining agreement goes through in the NBA, and the one and done, they don't have to be one and done anymore. They can go straight to the NBA and the G League. So you're competing in the marketplace with, and now in basketball it's going to be more similar to what college baseball has been, where David, previously Augie Garrido, and coaches had to decide, okay, do I want to recruit this kid who's likely to be a first-round draft pick?
I'm still naive to the fact that, talking to Morrow the other day, that what he's gotten out of his time at the university, you know what I mean?
Morrow Jamo, yeah. Well, look, I still think, again, in football, I mean, I think because there's still going to be a lot of kids that come in and take advantage of this degree and build in this program. And because in football, you can't go straight to the NFL, right? You have to play college football, essentially. But the NBA is different now, and it's getting more in the NBA. The basketball industry is different. And so, yeah, if you're Rodney Terry or any coach, you're competing with the NBA, the G League, sports all over leagues all over the world, like we just saw with the A.J. Johnson decision. And it's the transfer portal. So yes, it's a constant fluid roster. It feels like, which is a new thing. But in football, I still think it's a lot more similar than it is different. As far as if you build a good program, you sell a great brand, you can still build a solid core. Because we see people doing it all over college football. Basketball, though, yeah, you're right. That industry is ever changing, and it's challenging. But I don't know. Like if you're Rodney Terry, you're still selling UT. You're still selling the facilities. You're still selling a great university. Playing in a great conference.
Yeah, because that's when I hear him talk. He talks about all of that, but dudes are just saying it later.
Yeah, well, and that's the culture right now of there's a lot of money in the industry. There always has been, and now the door's been open to for a little bit more free movement of that money. And how many times do we see the scandals with, well, we want this guy to go play 1 year, but we want him to wear our shoe, and we're going to put some money under the table for you. So when he comes out and he gets to the NBA, he's still wearing our shoe and he works for our agency. How do we ensure that's going to happen? Well, now that's been removed now. That under the table stuff has been eliminated, and the shoe companies are still involved. The AAU coaches are still involved, and it's now the NBA is removing the 19-year-old age limit in the coming year, and so that's going to further change it. But again, 2 years ago with Chris Beard, we saw a coach come in, and he only had one player that he knew was coming back, and that was Brock Cunningham.
Yeah, and like you said, we saw with LSU's women's basketball team.
Yeah.
That's a whole new team.
I guess to your question, and the gimmick point was, we know when Chris Beard came in and he had one player, what did he sell? He sold playing for a national championship. He sold a great program. He sold the new building. He sold the vision of where the program can go, and it worked, right? He landed some really good players, and then Rodney Terry this year picked it up, and they all came back, and this team made a run nearly to the Final Four. So, that it's the challenge, but I do think coaches, and I think your point of admitting that you probably couldn't do it right now, the coaches that are in it, they just understand that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of how it's got to be, right? I mean, what else are you going to do? You mean it's you can complain about it, or you can
get right into it. I mean, you can't because you can't stop it.
Right. Yeah, it's but as I said, it's getting more and more like college baseball, because college baseball coaches have dealt with this for a long time. That, do I recruit this kid because he could go straight to the league?
For sure.
Or do I recruit this, maybe he's not the 5-star kid, but he's going to come to me and we're going to have him for 3 years. We're going to develop him. And, I think basketball coaches.
And there are no guarantees that even if they come for your university and all the great things you have to offer, that they will do well at that. You know what I mean? There's no guarantee that, okay, or will they take advantage of it like Morrow, like we talked to. I mean, there are a lot of guys who just won't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
It's just not in their nature.
Well, and like A.J. Johnson. Well, let's get to that headline, and then we'll pick it up and dive into our Coach's Corner. Also at the bottom of the hour, Eric Goodman will join us. He covers the Austin FC for the Austin Chronicle. His thoughts on the Oaks as they play a home game tomorrow night, and they turn things around here. They're off to a rough start in year 3. It's not been a great 2 months to start this season. We'll talk to Eric. Also, hot or not for the end of the hour. We roll forward, but first, the trending topics. UBEO Business Services brings it to you. Start with Texas Hoops, and the wave of 2023 roster attrition continued yesterday for the Longhorns with the word that Texas high school signee A.J. Johnson, the 6'5" point guard out of Los Angeles, California, decommitted from the program and assigned instead a professional contract with the Illawarra Hawks of the Australian National Basketball League. He was one of the 2-person class for the Longhorns in 2023, along with Duncanville forward Ron Holland. As it stands now, Rodney Terry and the Longhorns do not have a scholarship guard they are certain will be back on the team next year. Tyrese Hunter declared for the NBA draft, but could return. Rowan Brumbaugh and Arterio Morris have both entered the portal. The spring football, Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian and the Longhorns wrapped up their 14th and final spring practice yesterday morning. They're now set to take the field tomorrow at DKR for the program's annual orange-white game. It's presented by the Texas One Fund. Texas head coach Sark said that it will be a competitive game with a scoreboard. Unlike last year, Parking lots open at 7 tomorrow morning. Bevo Boulevard and Longhorn City Limits open at 9. And that will include an autograph session with the team along Bevo Boulevard. Our pregame coverage here on the Horn will be live at 11 a.m. Game kicks at 1. Major League Baseball, that incredible start of the Rays continued yesterday. They beat up on the Bo Sox 9-3. They've won 13 straight games to start the season and outscored their opponents by more than 70 runs. They tied the 87 Milwaukee Brewers, 92 Atlanta Braves, the only team since 1901 to begin the season on a 13-game win streak. They can set the all-time mark tonight, at least in the modern era, when they play at Toronto. Rangers and Astros both had the night off. Round Rock beat Tacoma 2-1 in 10 innings. Texas baseball team will open a Big 12 series tonight in Waco, facing the Baylor Bears in a set of 3. It's Longhorns sitting atop the Big 12, standing at 6-3 right now. Baylor at the bottom at 4-8. Head coach David Pierce, though, yesterday here on B&E told us that they have an improving ball club, especially in their home park.
They started very slow, new team, new staff, and you can start to see them coming together. They won their first series against K-State at home, then they lost 2 series on the road, and then they win the series at home against Oklahoma. So this is a team that's continuing to get better. They've played really well at home, so we are no way in any position to take anyone lightly, and so we got to be prepared to go in there and play our best baseball to win.
Friday starter Lucas Gordon gets the ball tonight, 6:30. First pitch, you'll hear it live here on the Horn. They'll play Saturday and Sunday afternoon as well. Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder and his wife Tanya have reached a preliminary, non-exclusive agreement to sell that franchise to a group led by Josh Harris and a group that includes Magic Johnson. The staggering bill would be $6.05 billion if approved.
This segment brought to you by UBO Business Services. Great people, great service, endless possibilities. That's UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com.
Yeah, I think your question is a fair one. It's are you going to recruit through the portal and try to bring in maybe guys that someday could play in the NBA, but are likely to stick in your program for a few years? What are you going to not?
We saw it all over the nation. They're playing in these Cinderella schools and playing well.
Well, and then UConn just won the national championship, and their head coach Dan Hurley said we didn't have one kid come here for an NIL deal, not one. They came here to play basketball for UConn and build a program, and so again, every program will be different. I think Rodney Terry has given his vision. It's kind of built on what Chris Beard's vision was, which was, be a Monday night program, cutting down the nets for a national championship, playing a great building, play a great university with a great brand. But at the same time, you have to choose, are you going to go young players who are like these, that could be one and done kind of players? Or are you going to recruit more, guys who can be in your program, 3 and 4 years? The big guy at UConn, Buck's been there 3 years. The big guy that was the most outstanding player, he's a 7-footer, but he's been in that program. So obviously it's the changing face, and unfortunately for Longhorn fans, this is the second time in 3 years that you really have to rebuild the program. Chris Beard had to do it 2 years ago and did a nice job of it along with the staff, and Rodney Terry was a big part of the rebuild, right? He recruited Marcus Carr. He recruited was the lead recruiter on a lot of the key guys.
This is not a surprise to them. They knew this kind of stuff could happen to them.
Yeah, I think so, especially with the veteran team they had, right? You were going to lose 4 or 5 key guys just by graduation. They're out of eligibility. Marcus Carr and Timmy Allen, that group they're gone, they're done, and their careers are over. And so you knew that. So the core of your team gone. Tyrese Hunter and Dylan Mitchell. And I got into a debate on Twitter with some people about this. That I think everything that's happened would have been happening no matter who the coach was. Because people are well, did we make the right hire with Rodney Terry? Everybody's leaving. Well, again, I think if Chris Beard was still here, or they hired someone else.
Those guys are going to go look anyway.
The top guys were out of eligibility. We knew that. Tyrese Hunter and Dylan Mitchell were going to test the NBA. That's just like Marcus Carr and Dylan DeSue did last year. It's there for them. It's their option to learn and get all the information and gather and get face to face with some NBA folks to find out what they're looking at and seeing. And then the Arterio Morris Rowan Brumbaugh decision was their own, right? I mean, Arterio, for whatever reason, as we heard from Jerry Hamilton yesterday from Inside Texas, there kind of been grumblings all year that he wasn't happy with his minutes, and he went home for Easter and comes back, and now he's in the portal.
Yeah, everybody's got their voice in your ear.
Yeah. And then, obviously the A.J. Johnson one came as a surprise yesterday. I was told that it didn't come as a surprise to the coaches, that this is one of the reasons that Rodney Terry went out to Los Angeles last week to talk to A.J., but that this deal, an Australian team comes in and offers you $750,000. It's pretty good money for an 18-year-old kid to go play 1 year of basketball and then be drafted next year into the NBA. That's what you're competing. When I say you're competing in the marketplace, you're a worldwide marketplace of basketball.
Yeah, it seems like those teams can start making promises to you. If you go do this or if you go do that, here's what we'll do for you. Here's where we're going to draft.
And those
you.
are established professional leagues. It's the
Right.
it's the Australia's version of the NBA, and so they're going to pay the kid nicely, and they'll get to play against grown people, professionals, and get better that way instead of coming here and. Who knows? Is he a 10 or 15-minute player this year for Texas? That was the decision he had to make. And as we said, his mentor is Jalen Green, the Houston Rockets young star, and he also went straight to the G League. He never stepped foot on a college campus on his way to being the second pick into the NBA draft, and now an emerging star with the Rockets. All right, let's dive into our Coach's Corner. It's brought to you by Tom McKay and his crew at Audio-Visual Consultations.
Audio-Visual Consultations and Tom McKay, the really smart guys who never make you feel stupid.
You're going to like that big 85-inch screen TV when you're watching the USFL this weekend and some of those new unis or some of those old unis because this is a second year for them, right? They were in existence last year, correct? Didn't the USFL play? They've already kind of been together.
Yeah, the USFL is back online. That's something no one will watch this weekend. Maybe.
What?
Well,
Ty?
I'm going to be watching.
You know, Ty got his money back from the government. You know what Ty's doing with that money?
Well, he's going to bet on Texas in the spring game.
Oh, is he really? Who you got?
Got orange.
Got orange
Come
or
on,
white.
man.
Yeah, in addition to everything else that's happening around the sports landscape, the USFL joins the XFL. They will go head-to-head for the next couple of weeks. And yeah, we told you yesterday, Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy is beginning his broadcasting career. He'll be on Color Analysis. You know, Fox and NBC are going to broadcast all 43 of the USFL's games, and including games this weekend. And Colt McCoy will be on the call of some games this year. And while he's still going to be playing for the Arizona Cardinals come the fall, he's going to be doing some TV work here in the spring. As for the spring, we know Steve Sarkisian running the promo that talks about how he really likes how this team looks. It looks like my team, he says. It looks like the team I envisioned when we got here a couple of years ago. And now we look out on the field and we see the bigger, faster, stronger team we want. Sark, when he was on with Craig Way and Jeff Howe earlier this week, also said this about the culture. What he also likes about this team is it's not just about the players. It's not just about they look bigger and they're faster and they're stronger. The attitude is really good, and they're a tight-knit group. Here's Sark on why he's pleased with where this thing is going in the spring and into the offseason.
I think this is a very tight-knit building that we're in, we're one that is upbeat, is positive, but is relationship-based. And I don't think that anybody in our organization ever feels uncomfortable coming to talk to me about whatever it is. And that's always what I'd hoped I could develop here and instill here. And that to me as a coach, that's the beauty of it. Because when you're connected that way on a personal level, man, that's a heck of a lot easier to go take the field and want to compete with one another and fight for one another for a common goal of winning a championship.
All right, so a tight-knit group, and I thought in there was interesting that no one in our team would not want to come in and sit and talk to me about something, which you've been on a lot of teams where
they say open door, but that door really isn't open.
Yeah,
what are you coming in here for now? What do you need now?
And you mentioned the Moro Ojimo conversation we had. He was in studio with us earlier in the week, and if you missed that conversation, please go back and listen to the whole thing. He's a really, really great young man. But you asked him the question. What about Sark? You were here with Tom Herman. You were here because I just thought the conversation with Moro was fascinating because he came in here when he was 16 years old, and then there was coaching change and positional coach change for him, and COVID and how that year went.
Slapped on the wrist for speaking his mind. I mean, the whole thing.
And then here comes Sark, and Sark's the new coach, and Bo Davis is his new defensive line coach, and his best 2 years came as a junior and a senior, his fourth and fifth years. Under the coaching of Bo Davis. But you asked him specifically about Sark as a leader and as the head of the program. Here was Moro Ojimo on our show on Wednesday.
I think he's brilliant, right? I think that, his life, he's been able to take his experiences and people he's interacted with, and he's been able to bestow that on the football team, right? We have great conversations in team meetings, and he's teaching us things that are not only going to help us become a better team and a better football player, but he's teaching us things that are also going to help us become a better man, right? And things that we're always gonna need, right? He talks about how you control your responses to everything, and how attitude is the single most important thing, right? And things that are really things that are controllables when you're waking up at, and I think those kids are waking up at like 5 a.m. now, like things that, at that time, like what can you do right now to become a better team, become a better player, and ultimately raise the University of Texas football program.
All right, so that back-to-back is interesting because Sark's saying that it's an open-door policy, and I feel comfortable anybody would come see me. There's a player who echoed the same thing that,
it's nice when you can go talk to your coach, your head coach, not your position coach, your head coach about something other than football that's on your mind.
Yeah.
And
that coach, and Sark has said this openly from day one, that he's a relationship-based coach. He wants to get to know his players, and he thinks he'll be a better coach because, obviously he had the Washington opportunity and the USC job and his own personal, issues, caught up with him there, and he had to battle that, and he still does. But he says he feels like he can use that to connect with young people. That, look, I've been in your shoes. I've been through some rough days when things aren't going great.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it, and I can relate to it. And that, Morrow went on to say that, we use the word vulnerable and vulnerability, and Morrow was like, that's key, right? To be able to build trust and build a relationship is feel like, that coach has let his guard down a little bit, let you in a little bit, and then you can then do the same in that conversation. So, again, all reasons for optimism for the Longhorns that Sark feels like the team is more talented and deeper and that they are connected, and they do feel like they can, come see Sark. And that doubles back to the beginning of the hour conversation, Buck, that, to me, what if it's a gimmick, that's what you sell is relationships. You sell the program and that you're going to come in and be part of this group, and we're going to go do great things. I think Kirby Smart has done a great job of building that at Georgia. We know Nick Saban has built that at Alabama, and Steve Sarkisian is trying to build it here. Obviously, there's still massive steps to be taken to get anywhere near those two programs, but it's obviously the
winning will cure that part of it.
Yeah, well, and I think the close-knit with talent, with everybody on the same page, leads to winning, right? You take talented players, you get everybody together playing for one another, feeling like they're connected. Well, that leads to wins. One leads to the other in my mind. But, you still got to coach it. You still got to get into the fourth quarter and call the right plays and, make the right decisions.
Well, yeah,
and that's going to be on Sark.
When you depend on that person, that's where the student, the player has to depend on you to make some of the right calls and some of the right decisions and to guide us in a way that we know how to win, with 3 minutes left in the game. Coach, where's your guidance? Here's your guidance right now. Well, we're there. We're open-minded to anything that you say, but now we're on the football field. We got 3 minutes to go. You're the guy going to call the plays. You're the guy that's going to make the decisions. I'm going to carry out what you tell me to do. I got that. I've learned through this whole course of 2 years with you, 3 years with you. I'm going to do the right thing. You got to make some calls too.
Yeah. And
we have to trust in you.
Mutual trust on that.
Mutual trust is right.
Without a doubt. But it does feel like the locker room is in sync with the coaches. And the other part of that Morrow talked about was, there was times when he was here where a lot of players didn't feel like they were improving, like they weren't getting better. Well, now they're seeing the improvement. Morrow talked about Bo Davis and how much improved he is as a player. And it's not a surprise that his last 2 seasons playing for Bo Davis were his best 2 seasons playing at Texas. And Keandre Coburn, I think, would say a similar thing. And so, yes, you got to develop the people, but you got to develop the player. And there's got to be trust both ways that we're all in this together for a common goal of being a championship program. All right, we'll come back. Good stuff right there. We'll take your thoughts on it. Coach's Corner, wide-ranging conversation involving basketball, football, college athletics as it is in this current Longhorn group headed into the spring game tomorrow. Coming back, we'll preview one of the big events of the weekend, Austin FC hosting Vancouver at Q2 Stadium. Have a quick visit with Eric Goodman, who covers that team. What are the issues they're dealing with, and how can they climb out of them? With Josh Wolf, we'll ask him that question coming next year on B&E.
The Wagner Wire.
Every Sunday morning from 9 a.m. to noon, you're invited to a party on the horn with Wags. It's the Wagner Wire, the #1 fantasy sports show in all the land and the ultimate party. I break down the latest in fantasy trends and all the top stories in sports. Whether it's season-long fantasy leagues or daily fantasy leagues, the Wagner Wire has you covered. You'll probably hear me geek out about video games and pop culture references too. Remember, there are no breaks in fantasy sports. The Wagner Wire, 9 a.m. to noon on the horn.
Cedar Park Overhead Doors has an opening that you can help them close. Apply today at cedarparkgaragedoors.com. That's cedarparkgaragedoors.com.
And issues on southbound I-35 again near Breaker Lane. Had a crash reported there about 3 o'clock this morning. They're still messing around there and not quite sure what the deal is, but it's starting to affect traffic during the rush hour here. Southbound I-35 from Wells Branch to Breaker is extra slow. We have a new crash. It's going to be on the west side of 290 at Fitzhugh Road. And another one, unfortunately, this one involving a pedestrian. Moore Road. That's Moore Road near FM 973. Not affecting 973, but again, there's going to be some slow traffic near there. Otherwise, main lanes looking rather routine for this Friday morning. I'm Don Miller. That's traffic.
This is Scott Crossett. I started Apple Leasing in 1985, and I thought, what a great business model. I can lease any make and model of car. My clients only have to pay for the portion of the car they're using. Heck, if I treat my clients right, I should be able to keep them forever. Well, fast forward 37 years, I am now leasing my clients' kids' cars too. But more importantly, Apple helps thousands of clients navigate the cost of the vehicle expense. That's what it's all about, your expense. From high gas prices, no inventory, high interest rates, you name it, we've seen it all. Apple Leasing, our mission is to help you manage your vehicle expense. That's it. I've never seen a crazier market than today. Call Apple Leasing at 512-346-9977. We'll take the time to understand exactly what your needs are and what you're trying to accomplish. Remember, we specialize in helping you get out of your current lease. In these times, when everything costs more, we can offer a more budget-friendly option to drive a car. If you want to talk to an automobile professional that will listen to your needs on an unbiased opinion, call us at 512-346-9977 or click appleleasing.com. Apple Leasing, we're just leasing cars and making friends.
If you have joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Erin Hogan, and that is absolutely what you should do. The folks at QC Kinetics use the latest and most advanced regenerative treatments to bring you lasting pain relief the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your body's own healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. And QC Kinetics has hundreds of clients all over America, about thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond the steroids and the surgeries and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year when the weather has turned, you need to be living your life to the fullest and doing all the things you love to do. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to at least check it out? So do it today. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation, just a free sit down at 512-593-4303, 512-593-4303. They have a location in Austin and in Round Rock. It's QC Kinetics.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limit supply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Spring weather is here and everything is going green. But wait, have you forgotten something? It's your water heater. Hi, it's Rita from my friends at Hambone Plumbing. Spring job number 1 is caring for your water heater. Did you know that flushing and draining your water heater is a solid yearly habit? Hambone can help. Plus plumbing installations, water heaters, and water softeners. For spring, go to Hambone for 40 years and 3 generations. Caring for your pipes and plumbing. 512-388-7030. HambonePlumbing.com.
License number M12470.
Buying on referrals from others is best. We've built our company on referrals from our great customers. Hi, this is Terry from Weedman Lawn Care. We have local ownership and on-staff turf management PhD and include chinch bug, grub, and nutgrass control in our basic service. Most competitors charge extra. We make your yard greener, thicker, more kid-friendly. Strive to be weed-free and do so with an environmentally sound approach to lawn care. More importantly, here's what customers say about us. Ed M. of Pflugerville wrote, Weedman is the third and by far the best service for yard care we have had. Our lawn looks great and the crew is courteous and knowledgeable. Thanks, Ed. Go to WeedmanUSA.com today for a free, no-obligation quote. Weedman is recommended by landscapers, golf course superintendents, and people like Valerie Kay of Leander, who called us and actually said, This is Valerie, and I just called to say I love you. You do a great job, and everyone I come in contact with is so nice and helpful. Go to WeedmanUSA.com. Lawn care companies are not all alike. Go to WeedmanUSA.com today.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings.
When professional Austin builders and landscapers need actual metal, they go to South Austin Metals, the go-to distributor of steel products in Austin. Pouring concrete? Come see South Austin Metals for your custom cut embed and base plates, plus load-bearing flitch plates and beams for your construction or remodel jobs. For brick or rock work, South Austin Metals has the lintels or custom lintels you need. Can't get to the store? They'll bring it to you. And South Austin Metal will match or beat anybody's price. South Congress and Industrial Boulevard. Think metal, think South Austin Metals. SouthAustinMetals.com.
It's Bucky and Erin.
Being with you on a busy Friday and a busy weekend is on tap. And part of that, got you about 6 people tell us about the big country music festival going on in Georgetown. This is Zach Bryan, who's one of the headliners of that event this weekend out in Georgetown, St. Gabriel Park, because we're going to have that. The Two Steppin' Fest will be out there this weekend, so enjoy that. We'll play some featured attractions for you because people fired up for the spring game, for the NBA playoffs, for live music in Williamson County, which should be a lot of fun. And that dude, Zach Bryan, is a rising, since he is selling out of venues all over the country right now. Tyler Childers ain't shabby either, Midland. I saw on their lineup at the Two Steppin' Fest, Buck. T-Pain going to be hitting the stage. Come on, man. That's a C3 event, so you know it's going to be top shelf.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They always do a great job. Charles Attal and the team over there at C3, Live Nation, that's a great event. So a lot of stuff to choose from this weekend. MotoGP out at COTA, music, football at DKR tomorrow with the spring game and treating it like a full game day with Bevo Boulevard and everything to happen. And tomorrow night out at Q2 Stadium, the Austin FC trying to pump some life into their early season. They're going to play Vancouver in a big match. And joining us to talk about it is our man Eric Goodman from the Austin Chronicle. Joins us on the Vaqueros hotline. Eric, how are you, man?
Doing great, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning to you too, man.
Hey, Austin FC, off to, is lethargic a good word for the start? I mean, I'll let you put your own adjective on it, but if you combine the overall mark, just 7 points, 2-3-1 in their matches, but also the poor performance in the CONCACAF tournament, it's kind of been a rough start to the year. What's your adjective for the first couple of months of Austin FC year 3?
This might be a gerund, but I would just say trending down, generally speaking, because I mean you're right. It's a long season, and with MLS expanding the playoffs now, kind of mimicking the NBA's play-in situation, where if you just place in the top 9 out of 14 in your conference, you've got a chance at the postseason. But that is where Austin is sitting right now in that 9th spot. So I mean you're not pressing the panic button yet, but I mean, all of these trend lines are not going in the direction you'd want to see them.
Yeah, Eric. Well, this is now a professional team. People are making professional comments about the head coach and what they need to do. And after 3 years, people start to know what your style is too. Are other teams just finding out a little bit more about Austin FC? I mean, as he always says, they got film of you too now. They understand what you're about and they understand your philosophies a little bit. So. Is that coming into play, obviously, a little bit now?
Yeah, I think so. And Josh Wolf made an interesting point after their last match, the 3-0 loss at LAFC last season, which if you look, they played so well for the first, 4 months, and it didn't really cost them to have a little bit of a downswing right before the playoffs. But you're right. I mean, you look and there was, a clear – downturn in the goal scoring, and that's where they're struggling the most right now. And I think Austin FC has just got to figure out how to play a lot less predictable of a game, because if you're an opposing defense and you can force Sebastian Driussi away from goal and mitigate his threat, there's not a lot of other ways that Austin can hurt you right now. I mean, the ball will pretty much always find its way out to the wings, where either a winger or a fullback is going to try to cross it in, and then there's no real height, there's no real danger that Austin has in the box to get on the end of those crosses, and that makes it really difficult to score goals.
Yeah, and in addition to the 2-3-1 record, 1-1-1 at home, and then 1-2 on the road. The game last weekend at LAFC was just a complete mismatch. I mean, this is a team you played in the Final Four last year, the Western Conference Finals, and it just looked like the the varsity versus the junior varsity, and that had to be disheartening for the club as well.
Right. Well, exact same scoreline as that Western Conference final. Both times a 3-0 loss. I mean, clearly those teams are operating on different levels. But where I think the biggest difference is, because this was kind of the focus of my column this week about how Austin and LA on the surface they're pretty similar in terms of how they're both recent very successful expansion teams with a lot of very talented players on the roster. But where LAFC has pretty much nailed it on every big DP signing they've had, whether it's Carlos Vela, Diego Rossi, Chicho Arango, these guys have all been either league-leading scorers or MVP candidates. Austin, it's pretty much Sebastian Driussi and then a bunch of players. When you talk about DPs and these young guys, these young DPs like Rodney Redis, Musa Jite, they've pretty much whiffed on everybody other than Sebastian Driussi. And so that is, you can chalk that up to scouting and obviously, roster building. I think some of that also has to fall on Josh Wolf. And why is this coaching staff not getting the most out of these players that the organization is optimistic about and thinks these are going to be impact players, and yet Austin's not getting that production out of them?
Eric, when things start to happen, you start looking elsewhere. I mean, is there any help on the way offensively for this team, or any new signings? Because that's I wouldn't call that the panic button. I just call that some more new blood infused into what you need to do offensively, because they need to score more for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't, bank on that, to be honest. I mean, the earliest that they could probably make some kind of impact signing would be closer towards the summer, getting into June and July.
Almost July, yeah.
I mean, they made their big attacking signing in Giassi Zardes, who has gotten off to a pretty miserable start here. Going games not just without scoring, but without putting a shot on goal. Obviously, Emiliano Rigoni is in the same situation, really, really struggling out in his attacking right wing position. So, I mean, you are going to get some help defensively. They signed on loan a center back, Radovanovic, who may make his debut this weekend. But Austin has the talent to score goals. So, and they're going to have to figure it out with the guys that they have.
Yeah, and a lot of people wondered about Josh Wolf and the scheme, and as you talked about, they if they can't get Driussi clear, it's a tough nut. And the defense has struggled at times this year too. I know they just inked a new deal with Cascante, their defenseman. He's hopefully back soon from that injury. What about the matchup with Vancouver tomorrow night? Vancouver's right ahead of Austin in the standings. Austin sitting at the 9 spot in the West. Vancouver's at the 8. They have 9 points. Austin has 7. So safe to say a critical match here, especially on home pitch.
Right, and Vancouver also coming off a 3-0 loss to LAFC, which they had to play on Tuesday as part of that CONCACAF Champions League that Austin, was already eliminated from. So you do get Vancouver on a really short week. They, pretty much all of their impact players were involved in that match on Tuesday. So, and this is a home game for Austin. So it's another one where, anything other than 3 points is probably not good enough, especially when you talk about building momentum after this sluggish start, like you mentioned. So, yeah, I think it's a quietly a very, very big game for Austin, and one that they need to take everything from, or else those concerns are just going to keep growing.
All right. He is Eric Goodman. Follow him on Twitter at Goodman, which is a great Twitter handle. He's a TV producer and sports writer for, of course, the Austin Chronicle. And you read a weekly column there, right, Eric? And where else can they find you when they're looking for good soccer content from you?
Yeah, that's right. You nailed it. The Verde Report in every issue of the Austin Chronicle comes out on Thursdays. And then, on Twitter, you'll see all my content as well.
Goodman, Goodman, because he's a good man, and he is our
guest
this morning. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Eric. Looking forward to the match this weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, there's Eric Goodman. Part of the busy weekend, soccer, football, baseball.
It's not stopping the crowds from coming there, is it?
Hey, no, they're still, the sellout streak continues. But what it is doing, as you said, is we're getting texts like, hashtag fire Josh Wolf.
Yeah.
So, year 3, the expectation, especially with nearly a run to the championship last year, And a lot of the same cast, the coach is going to wear that a little bit. That with a lot of the same players, why are we so much different this year? And as you asked appropriately, has the league figured out Josh Wolf and how he likes to attack? But that's the soccer side. We've got baseball. Hey Ty, how you feeling about the Rangers and Astros this weekend, my friend? The Rangers will start about a month-long stretch without Corey Seager, their starting shortstop and superstar. He's out with a hammy problem.
Yeah, they got a young guy, Josh Smith, gonna replace him.
Is he the guy that does all the Twitter with his wife?
I haven't seen that, no. But he is batting under 200, but he's more of a defensive
Well, I think when he was at Round Rock, he and his wife did all kinds of like TikTok videos and stuff.
Okay.
Kind of about life in the minors kind of thing.
I'll have to check that
Kind of
out.
a baseball diary. But yes, and you better, the last 2 years, Houston has dominated this series. They've gone 28-10 head-to-head against the Rangers the last 2 years, and it's even wider if you go back to 2017. But this is the best Ranger team we've seen, and Astros off to – by the way, the Astros are 6-7, and some Astro fans are panicking a little bit. They've been 6-7 after 13 games for the last 3 years now. So 3 years in a row, they've been 6-7 to start the campaign. So
you're gonna be 6-10 come Monday.
Oh, the sweep!
Whoa!
Let's see. It'll be Luis Garcia against Martin Perez tonight, and that's game one.
Don't show up like the Red Sox showed up.
The Sox
to Tampa. Wow.
Tampa might just be that good. People can say what they want about the Sox, but when you've outscored your opponents in those 13 wins by 71 runs, you're no joke. I mean, your pitching staff is pitching lights out, and
But they hit home runs too. Where do they get all these home run hitters from?
They've also played like the 5 worst teams in baseball.
That's possible. We'll see over time. But yes, they've had
We'll see when they play the Yankees.
But they're not just beating those teams; they're dominating those teams. So we'll see. Yeah, it's a big test tonight. They're going to play a winning team in Toronto. They're sitting there tied with the Yankees in overall record to start the year. No, but you ask where they get these home runs. This kid Wander Franco. Seriously, he's been the fast track kid, and everyone knew he was coming. He's now 22 years old. He is dynamite. He is just as good a young player. I mean, Major League Baseball is loaded with good young players. We know that, and just talent. But Wander Franco is a superstar, and he's coming into his own. And finally, the Rays, who's always had good pitching, are now combining great pitching with a rock solid lineup that can bash the baseball around, including Wander Franco. Yanni Diaz is there. I mean, they're a good team, a really, really good team. And obviously 13 in a row to start the year would tell you that. We'll come back. When we do, we'll pick up some hot or not topics, things we've missed halfway through this busy Friday. Our man T.Y. will lead us through that. We'll also continue some great guests and good conversation to get you into your weekend here on B&E.
The southbound side of I-35 is still slow because of a cleanup of a little spill that happened due to a wreck there about 3 o'clock this morning. So that's the reason why they blocked part of that lane, that right lane, and the right shoulder. And we are feeling the effects of this coming down from Wells Branch to Breaker Lane. It's extra slow because of that. Now, again, on the other side of town, this is southeast side. Moore Road near FM 973. Again, an investigation of an auto pedestrian collision there. West side of 290 Fitzhugh Road. We do have a crash there, a little backup. And over on Slaughter on the south side at Bluff Springs, you've got a wreck there too that you're dealing with. But not much else going on, and we're slightly lighter than normal with the volume here on this Friday morning, as sometimes happens on Fridays. I'm Don Miller. That's traffic.
Hey, business owners, are you feeling the pressures of growing your own business? It's tough to maintain momentum and still keep employees engaged. Insperity brings over 35 years of HR experience to help you with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving your employees competitive benefit options. Your people can thrive, your business can adapt and prosper. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Scalable HR, employee benefits, HR technology. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflow and allowing you to better communicate within your organization and with your customers. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. Great people, great service, endless possibilities.
Hey, it's Erin Hogan. Are you a homeowner and you're looking to sell your home on your schedule and you're thinking, come on, E, how am I going to do that? Well, listen, I'm here to tell you how you can. You can lock in a guaranteed cash offer from Orchard, and you'll be starting the spring with a celebration, I promise you. And here's how. Now, before Orchard, we all know this, selling your home was a long, stressful process. With Orchard's cash offer, no more waiting weeks, even months, for your home to sell. Orchard's cash offer guarantees the sale of your home so you can sell when you're ready. not whenever it happens. You'll have the certainty that your house will sell without the hassles of selling it. So go to Orchard.com for a free, no-obligation, guaranteed cash offer. Don't worry about waiting weeks or months for your home to sell. Orchard's cash offer guarantees the sale of your home and enables you to sell it when you're ready. And all you have to do is get a no-cost, no-obligation offer at Orchard.com. Orchard gives you the certainty that your house will sell without all the hassles of selling it. And to get a free, no-obligation, guaranteed cash offer from Orchard, just go to the website, Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. One more time, Orchard.com.
Did you know there are two things people realize when buying a bed? Mattress research is hard, and everything sounds the same. So, how do you find the right mattress? Simple. Just follow the science to Factory Mattress. At Factory Mattress, our exclusive Right Fit mattress matching technology uses science, not salesmen, to take the guesswork out of mattress shopping. Plus, come experience Smart Life, the auto-adjusting, no-compromising bed of the future.
My Factory Mattress.
Upgrade to a smarter night's sleep this weekend, and we'll pay the sales tax, while you save up to 53% on over $170,000 in closeouts, with 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, get it home smarter, not harder, with free next-day delivery, setup, and removal. Experience the benefits of deep, restorative sleep by finding the right mattress today. Shop smarter, sleep better at Factory Mattress, for the love of sleep.
My Factory Mattress.
If the price you see is the price you want to pay, come see Henna Chevrolet.
I went to sign the papers for a new Tahoe and saw the price jumped almost $4,000. I thought it was a typo, but turns out it's for overpriced add-ons like tint and floor mats. So I called Henna, got a price, brought a check, and left with a Tahoe.
For a lower price made clear, find new roads at HennaChevyAustin.com.
Henna Chevrolet, we'll always stand by you.
Viva Tejas, presented by Viva First Bank, is back and with a fresh new look. Saturday, April 29th, after the Rangers host the Yankees. Step outside the ballpark's north entrance and into the post-game party at the CBD Kratom backyard. Enjoy live music, dancing, delicious food, and micheladas made to your liking. It's the first fiesta of the season, and you're invited. Don't miss out. Get the details at rangers.com/Viva Tejas.
The Tour of Texas Golf on the Horn is presented by Callahan's General Store. Here's Charlie from Callahan's with another Green Thumb tip to help you get your yard into golf course condition.
The soil is warm, and now it's time to turn that dirt over and introduce some soil amendments to your garden beds. We have a number of options here at Callahan's, organic and otherwise. You can put it down now and turn that dirt and start to treat it so that you can have healthy tomatoes, healthy peppers, healthy squash, melons, cucumbers, flowers. It's time now. There's all kinds of options out there for you to start your garden. Here at Callahan's, we have a number of ways to get you started from the ground up with your soils, with your seedling plants, you name it, we've got it. We got the tools, we got some expertise here. You want a great garden, we'll get you where you need to be. Start here at Callahan's.
Callahan's General Store, a Central Texas legend since 1978. Still here at 501 Bastrop Highway between downtown and the airport. Online at callahansgeneralstore.com. Callahan's General Store. And hey, make it a Callahan's Day.
The Horns text line is brought to you by Specs. Specs wine, spirits, and finer foods. You're on the way, less to pay, everyday store. Cheers to savings. What's hot? And what's not?
What's Hot, What's Not is brought to you by Texas Orthopedics, the largest independent orthopedic practice in Central Texas. Visit us at txortho.com to learn more and to schedule an appointment.
Hot and not on a Friday, and it's a red hot weekend. Weather looks great for all of the outdoor activities you may have. Could be a shot of a shower, but not too much. Also, as we said, tomorrow for the spring game and everything going on, it's going to climb into the low 90s tomorrow. Be in the 50s in the morning when we get cranking on Bevo Boulevard, and a little warmer, but then hit 90 degrees and maybe a little north of that tomorrow. So looking forward to it, the weekend, that is. We also look forward to a conversation next hour. We're going to talk to our buddy Mike Craven from the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. He is my co-host on the Eyes on Texas multicast, which we do now each week, and we'll check in with Mike, his thoughts on the spring game for the Longhorns tomorrow. Also, Mike's been traveling the state. He's been down to visit the Houston Cougars for their spring practice. He was in Waco yesterday, checking in on Dave Aranda and the Baylor Bears. Also TCU with the rebuilding job they have to do for Sonny Dykes. We'll check in with Mike about his stops in those spots this week and all opponents for the Longhorns this year. How about this on the not hot side? You see this, Buck? A truck full of dimes, like the currency dimes, not dime bags, not dime piece, none of that. A truck full of dimes in Philadelphia, valued at $200,000, was stolen while the driver was asleep. So apparently he was going to deliver these dimes.
Come on, Hoofy.
And he had loaded them up in a truck, and then he took them to a Walmart parking lot where he left them and went home and took a nap. And he was getting ready for his long drive. Well, police in Philadelphia are looking for someone who broke into the unmarked truck that was parked in the parking lot. The truck was carrying 7.5 million dimes, which is easy math, $750,000. That's a lot of dimes. That's a heavy thing of cargo.
Did he leave the keys in the truck?
I don't know what he did. The dimes were headed from the
Philadelphia. Man, they know how to get that truck started. Come on.
They were headed from the Philadelphia Mint to Florida.
Wow.
So, and each dime. When's the last time you had a dime in your hand? I never have change in my hand anymore. Each dime weighs 2.3 grams, meaning the thieves stole more than 10,000 pounds of dimes. But how do they cash that in?
There's no serial code like dollars. It's probably that's smart to steal dimes.
Go to your little place that has a machine at the bank and just start dropping.
How long that's going to take?
Forever.
7.5 million dimes counted out into cash.
Take your boys and you go to different locations. Let's start.
You don't think somebody's going to see this story and say, "Hey, we had a guy in here loading dimes into our machine."
This guy had a trash bag.
He's got to lay low for a little while.
Well, they had to be in cases, right? I mean,
they're case stuff.
He was taking them to Florida from the Philadelphia Mint, and you can't just leave the truck in. Clearly,
dude, it's $700,000. I don't care if it's in pennies. You don't leave the truck.
I mean, you can pay in dimes. You could show up and pay for anything in dimes, can't you?
Well, if they're rolled up, nobody's going to open them up.
You can piss someone off, but
yeah. Hey, here's your restaurant bill. Let me
I'll
give
pay
you
in
a
pennies
bag of
if
dimes.
I have to. It's money. Still,
I'm gonna smack you in the face with that bag of dimes. I don't think there's any doubt. But unclear. But yeah, he clearly the truck was too big to park at his house in Philadelphia, so he left it in the Walmart parking lot. Went to get a nap, good night's sleep, and then what do you know?
Dude, you live in Philly. Don't you understand what's happening here?
Yeah, this sounds like an inside job. You don't think he was a part of that deal? Oh, wow. I fell asleep.
Man.
There you go. T.Y., what do you have for us in Hot or Not? A topic or two we've missed halfway through a busy Friday.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq.
On his podcast, The Big Pod, this week, said that Angel Reese, national champion on the women's basketball team there at LSU, said that she is probably the greatest athlete ever to come out of LSU sports, male or female.
Ooh.
And everybody kind of looked at him side-eyed.
Shaq said that?
Shaq said that, yes.
Like Shaq went to LSU.
Yeah.
What's the you Bayou Bengals?
Odell
What's
Beckham.
your short list? I mean, greatest football player all time is Joe Burrow, right?
Yes.
Is that debatable? I mean, he led him to a national championship. He had the greatest offensive season maybe quarterbacks ever had. Basketball, Chris Jackson was better than Shaq at LSU. Chris Jackson was a better player than Shaq, but Shaq would probably get the nod.
Yeah, Shaq is going to get that nod for sure.
LSU's had some dudes at baseball in their time, including Albert Joey Bell, Ben McDonald.
Was she even the leading
Alex
scorer?
Bregman.
Joey Bell, was that him fighting his dad?
He went to LSU.
Yeah.
Alex Bregman. But Angel Reese, according to Shaq.
I ain't buying.
We appreciate all they're a dime a dozen texts.
Lolo Jones. How about Lolo Jones?
That's who, yeah. She was pretty pissed off about that comment.
She's still a virgin?
She's not married. She said she wasn't giving it up till she got married.
AC Green.
Lolo, yeah.
Pete Maravich, nice one. Chris Jackson was kind of a Pete Maravich clone while he was playing for LSU.
Well, he tried to be.
Joe Burrow for football for sure. All right, we're back. We'll pick up these conversations. We'll also check in with Mike Craven. He's been touring the spring practices of Texas opponents in 2023, so we'll talk with him, his thoughts on the spring game as well. B&E with you on a Friday.
Texas football coach Steve Sarkisian.
This looks like my team. And it's year 3. I said, it feels and looks like my team. The way the players talk, the way they act, what they look like, the way they move, the way they run, how we practice, the speed, the tempo, all of those things, man, I'm like, okay, now we're about ready to go. This is what it's supposed to look like.
The Texas Spring Game, Saturday at 1. Pre-game at 11 a.m. from Bevo Boulevard on the Horn.
QC Kinetics, folks, a location in Austin and in Round Rock. Just make the phone call. That's the number one thing I'm telling you. If you live your life in chronic pain, and it's a daily thing, it's not if it's going to hurt, just how severe that day. Weather changes, and all of a sudden your knee gets even more cranky than usual, your hip, your shoulder, your lower back. If it's just a constant occurrence, at least make the call to our friends at QC Kinetics and learn how people are finding relief and the relief that they're seeking with the regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. Either location, Round Rock and Austin. All you do is get in there and they'll have answers to your questions of how it works and why it works. It's taking your body's own healthy blood cells, highly concentrated, and then injected back into the affected area to promote the relief that you're seeking, right? Regenerating that tissue, bringing down the inflammation, relieving the pain, and then getting you back to being the active person you want to be. There are so many testimonials and people who will tell you just how their lives have been changed for the good by making that phone call and getting in and seeing the people at QC Kinetics. And all you have to do is call them. Heck, you can get in early next week. They'll have a spot for you. And if you choose to take the treatments and do it, you know those are in-office things. These are not. There's no downtime. You can do it during your lunch hour, during the day, and have the treatments as you go through the weeks, and you'll find the relief that you're seeking. 593-4303, the phone number. That's 512-593-4303. Make the call now to QC Kinetics.
The southbound side of I-35 is still slow because of a cleanup of a little spill that happened due to a wreck there about 3 o'clock this morning. So that's the reason why they blocked part of that lane, that right lane, and the right shoulder. And we are feeling the effects of this coming down from Wells Branch to Breaker Lane. It's extra slow because of that. Now, again, on the other side of town, this is southeast side. Moore Road near FM 973. Again, an investigation of an auto pedestrian collision there. West side of 290 Fitzhugh Road, we do have a crash there, a little backup. And over on Slaughter on the south side at Bluff Springs, you've got a wreck there too that you're dealing with. But not much else going on, and we're slightly lighter than normal with the volume here on this Friday morning, as sometimes happens on Fridays. I'm Don Miller. That's traffic.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings. O'Reilly.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey folks, it's Bucky here, and there was a time when my back was so seriously in need of relief. Getting the right support looked like it was really going to be impossible. I tried everything, but nothing gave me the comfort I needed. And then I found Relax the Back. It was amazing. Finally, a way to help me live pain-free. Relax the Back embraces a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle based on 35 years of proven expertise with the motto, Live Wellness. Relax the Back can help transform your routine and your life. Right now through April 24th, save yourself 20% on all human-scale ergonomic office chairs and desks. Get 48 months, 0% interest financing, and up to $1,000 off select full-body massage chairs through April 30th. Hey, take it from me. You can live pain-free with Relax the Back for a healthier lifestyle based on 35 years of proven expertise. Locations in Bee Cave at the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods, and in Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store. Live pain-free with Relax the Back.
Hey, it's Eric, and you've heard me talking about Divided Sky Roofing and Solar and how they're certified electrical contractors and can help you be prepared for any short or long-term power outages by installing a backup battery system or a Generac generator. Are you worried you may have some roof damage? You can trust John Hardy and his team to give you an honest assessment. It's possible you can get a new roof with GAF Timberline Solar Shingles. 512-995-ROOF or DividedSkyAustin.com. Texas license TECL 37397.
From the UBO Business Services Studios, you're listening to KTXX FM and HD1 BK, KTAE AM Eldon, K270CO Round Rock.
This hour brought to you by Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Get sinus and snoring relief with Dr. Daniel Slaughter at Sinus and Snoring Specialists, 512-601-0303 or sinussnoringent.com.
Guests on the Horn appear courtesy of the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina Hotline. Vaqueros now delivers and offers curbside pickup. For info on placing your lunch or dinner order, visit vaqueroscafe.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world.
Austin, Texas, baby.
It's Bucky and Erin.
You guys want to play some twos? You know what? Actually, we're kind of in the middle of a conversation.
B&E.
What's B&E?
Bucky Godbolt, Erin Hogan on the Horn, 104.9 AM 1260 and hornfm.com, where the Longhorns play and Austin talks sports.
You think we've gotten too radical with our message? Well, I got news for you. You ain't heard nothing yet. And if you don't know, now you know. Glory, glory!
Oh, man, that's not nice. It's a friendly Friday here on B&E. It's a football Friday. Somebody tweeted me and said, I dated a gal in law school who my friends named Bag of Nickels because the frame was outstanding, but the face looked like she got smashed by a bag of nickels. It's so unkind.
700.
We're talking about bags of dimes.
Bags of dimes?
Dime bags. No, not dime bags. Bags of dimes.
That's one of the worst nicknames I've ever heard for a girl. Bag of nickels.
Wow.
I didn't think
that's mean.
I'd like to.
We're going to
hear
sensitivity training. Well, that's like the what is it? Butterface? Is that what I used to hear all the time?
Yeah.
That's so mean. You guys quit being so mean. Judgmental.
I'd rather be mean to Angel because she's not the best. Pete Maravich, Joe Burrow.
What was the great scene in Ted Lasso?
I'm going to put her down there with, what was the running back that went to Tampa?
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I'll put her with Leonard Fournette. How's that? How's that feel?
Never really has been great, so he's Leonard Three-Net.
Bad ankles, Leonard.
Well, yeah, Pete Maravich, probably the best basketball player. Did he believe that she is? Is she? Angel
No,
Reese?
she is not. I mean, she averaged.
Did she score 60 in a game or something?
She averaged 23 points a game this year.
Okay, I was thinking she averaged.
Shaq
40.
was better than her, obviously, and he's the one saying it.
I always wonder if you go back to those early '90s teams at LSU. They had Shaquille O'Neal, Stanley Roberts, a fellow 7-footer, and then Chris Jackson. How did Dale Brown not win the championship? What the hell?
Big Baby Davis is another LSU great. Right. Tyrus Thomas.
I think with basketball, it's Pete Maravich followed by Chris Jackson. I think most LSU fans would agree with that. And then in
what
football,
about Shaq?
He was a good college player.
I mean, I didn't watch him, but
I did. Shaq's my age. Just a little. We're right around similar age. He was a good player. He's dominant. Didn't win a championship though.
That's true. She's got him there.
She's got the ring. Remember, she pointed at Caitlin Clark.
Right.
She got the ring.
Got the ring.
She's going to the White House. Shaq didn't do that until he got to the NBA. And Shaq was just so dominant. But, yeah, Dale Brown, the coach, how did you not win?
I'll put her with Odell Beckham Jr. How's that?
Joe Burrow, by the way. Joe Burrow is the answer. Joe Burrow, it's like Vince Young. If he leads you to the natty, or she,
right,
it takes it to a different
level.
I mean, it's just like, come on. But so yeah, Angel
Reese
individually,
has that. You have to do some things yourself too. You got to score 60 in a game, not.
Well, this becomes
20.
undoubted. This is now the gospel though at LSU. Kim Mulkey's the best coach they've ever had.
There's no doubt about that. She's the best coach Baylor ever had too.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Hold on, yeah.
That includes men or women.
Yeah.
How about that?
What about Scott Drew?
Sorry, Scott. You're the second best basketball coach.
Who was the forever
there.
baseball coach at LSU? Skip Burtman. He was a pretty dang good coach. But, because for a long time, LSU was the premier baseball program. along with Texas.
Ooh, somebody said Honey Badger.
They're number one right now.
They are. They're real good. And that's a good ball club. Good ball club. But, yes, LSU, it's Joe Burrow. And now, Joe Burrow. Remember the season he had? That was unbelievable. But, yes, he did. He was throwing to Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And that was a pretty good team built by Ed Orgeron.
Quarterback.
Ed Orgeron, who's no longer there. Let's get to the headlines, trending topics. We're going to talk some football with Mike Craven coming up from Dave Campbell's Texas Football. He'll give his thoughts on the spring game for the Longhorns and what he's looking for. Also, some observations from his trips to Fort Worth to check in on Sonny Dykes' program during spring, Dave Aranda's program in Waco, Dana Holgerson. By the way, how hot is the seat for Dana down in Houston? Because Tillman Fertitta is the big money booster there. And he's friends with Dana Holgerson. That's one of the reasons Dana Holgerson left the West Virginia Mountaineers to come to Houston when they weren't even in the Power 5. Now they're joining the Power 5. And Clayton Tune, their quarterback's leaving. They've got a lot of guys to replace.
Wide receivers, you're right.
They got the dude from Tech that beat Texas, though, coming in. What's his name, the quarterback?
The big tall kid.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, we'll ask Mike Craven about that. Because
Often hurt kid.
Well,
Any
look,
quarterback coming from Tech.
Well, and here's the thing:
hurt quarterback.
if you have a deep-pocketed billionaire benefactor like Houston does, and Dana Holgerson has a ceiling as a coach, well, now you're in the Big 12, and you play in the city of Houston. You should be able to go out and, I'm not saying they hire any coach, but you should have some suitors who would want that job. Now that they're joined the Power 5, and the Big 12 is going to be a big part of that, and that would be a coveted position, I would have to think. Look what Sonny Dykes just did in the first year at TCU, getting into a big market like that, and hitting the transfer portal, and they play for a national championship. We'll see. We'll ask Mike those questions coming up because football season never ends here on B&E. Let's get to the headlines, trending topics, because there's concern for the roster of the Texas Longhorn basketball team. Top Gun Equipment Rentals bring you the news. And how about we start with Texas Hoops? The wave of 2023 roster attrition continued yesterday for the Longhorns and Rodney Terry. Official word that the high school signee A.J. Johnson is decommitted and instead going to sign a professional contract to play for the Illawarra Hawks of the Australian National Basketball League. 6'5" guard from L.A. was one of two Texas signees in the 2023 class, along with the Duncanville forward Ron Holland. He is still committed, but as it stands now, Rodney Terry and the Horns do not have a scholarship guard that they are certain will be back on the team next year. With the graduations of Marcus Carr and Serge Abari Rice, Tyrese Hunter declared for the NBA draft, and Rowan Brumbaugh and Arterio Morris have both entered the transfer portal. Texas football, Steve Sarkisian's Longhorns wrapped up their 14th and final spring practice yesterday morning. They are now set to take the field at DKR tomorrow for the program's annual Orange-White game. It's presented by Texas One Fund. Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian believes it'll be a competitive game with a scoreboard, likes where this team is with the depth, likes how they look, and he also likes the connection to this team.
I think this is a very tight-knit building that we're in. We're one that is upbeat, is positive, but is relationship-based. And I don't think that anybody in our organization ever feels uncomfortable coming to talk to me about whatever it is. And that's always what I'd hoped I could develop here and instill here. And that to me as a coach, that's the beauty of it. Because when you're connected that way on a personal level, man, that's a heck of a lot easier to go take the field and want to compete with one another and fight for one another for a common goal of winning a championship.
Parking lots open at 7 tomorrow morning. Bevo Boulevard and Longhorn City limits open at 9. There is a team autograph signing at that time as well. Our pregame coverage for the Orange-White scrimmage goes live at 11 a.m. Game kicks at 1. Major League Baseball, incredible start for the 2023 Tampa Rays continued yesterday. They beat the Red Sox 9-3. It's 13 in a row now. They can break the all-time mark with a win tonight at Toronto. Rangers and Astros both off. Round Rock beat Tacoma 2-1. Washington Commanders owners Dan and Tanya Snyder, have reached a preliminary non-exclusive agreement to sell the franchise to a group led by Josh Harris. Magic Johnson also a part of that group. A staggering price tag of $6.05 billion.
Horn Headlines brought to you by Top Gun Rentals and Lawn Equipment. Don't be a fool this month. Come to Top Gun for great deals on steel lawn equipment and Toro, Hustler, and Gravely mowers to kick off spring. TopGun.net. We'll shoot you straight.
$6 billion.
6.05, and he bought the team for 800 G's. 800,000. Under $1 million to sell it for $6 billion. You math majors out there can do better than me on what the markup on that is.
Man.
What's the rate of return on that bad boy? And he bought it in 1999, so it's only 24 years ago that he bought the team for $800,000. I mean, it's online with Jerry Jones, right? Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys for pennies.
$800 million, right?
No, it was like $250 million.
$250
in the late
million
80s.
bucks?
Yes. And now it's the most. I mean, if the Commanders would go for $8 billion or $6 billion, what would the Cowboys go for? Not that Jerry's in any rush to sell the team.
Well, maybe his new daughter may be.
She's the Maury Povich daughter.
Yeah, if she doesn't get that gig.
Hey, let's go to the Vaqueros hotline, talk some college football with a good friend. He's also my co-host on the Eyes on Texas multicast we record each week, but he is the senior writer at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, formerly with the Austin American Statesman and Rivals. He's our great friend, Mike Craven. Mike, how are you, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm what's jet lagged but for car driving? That's what I am right now.
Yeah, you've been putting some miles on the Ford Focus, huh? Just all over Texas, doing the tour, writing your columns for the magazine. And you've gotten to see behind the scenes a little bit. You know, Texas is having their spring practice. Steve Sarkisian very confident in his team and his depth and where they're headed. What did you learn when you were at Houston about Dana Holgorsen? Bucky and I were talking about that before the headlines that you and I talked about it on the Eyes on Texas pod, that if things don't go great here for them in year one in the Big 12, and they've got a lot of players to replace, including their quarterback, that the seat might get a little warm on Dana Holgorsen down there at the U of H.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Houston's schedule, and there's only 3 out of the 12 games that you can definitively go, oh, well, that's a win for sure. And so, you know, there's 9 games, 3 of them that they probably don't have much of a chance on. So those 6 games in the middle are coin flip games that are going to decide the future of Houston football. You know, Dana Holgorsen was hired by Houston and Tillman Fertitta to get Houston ready for this moment, to be ready to join the Big 12. He's going into his 5th season. He's had 1 really good one, 1 pretty good one, and then 2 pretty bad ones. And so I think his seat's a little bit warm. They were starting to kind of talk a little bit in that market last year about, you know, kind of what the future is under Holgorsen. And it feels like a big year. And then when you're there, you know, they still have a lot to do in this second transfer portal window. I mean, they have 5 spots open just for offensive linemen. And, you know, so they're kind of where Sark was when he first got there, where, like, they didn't have enough offensive linemen to really do a true spring game. That's fine in your first spring. It's probably not great in your 4th. And so that's kind of where Houston is right now.
By the way, people are texting me. The Washington football team sold for $800 million. Did I say 800,000?
Yeah, you said 800 million.
800 million.
That's what I thought you meant.
My fault. Under $1 billion, now $6 billion. That is my misspeaking.
That's still pretty good.
Still pretty good rate of return for Dan Snyder.
Yes.
So interesting with Houston, and they got a ton to replace. Speaking of replacing players, we'll get to the Longhorns here coming up, Mike, but TCU, and you and I were talking about it on Monday night, they replace the best player at every position on their football team.
I mean, literally every single position on their football team, they lose their best player. Now, quarterback could be a toss-up because we got to remember, Chandler Morris won this job going into last year. He got hurt in the first half against Colorado. That allowed Max Duggan to get back on the field, and then the rest is history. So they feel pretty good about the quarterback position and what Chandler Morris can be there. I know defensive coordinators around the state, feel like he's going to be a pretty good player if he can stay healthy. It's just figuring everything else out. They do have talent. TCU's recruited, as good as anybody in the Big 12 other than Texas and Oklahoma. So they're going to be talented. They're going to have the guys to do it. They're just unproven. They're inexperienced, and some of them are transfers coming in from new spots like a JoJo Earl, Tommy Brockemeyer, guys like that. So they're going to have to figure things out on the fly. I don't know if they know exactly what football team they are right now just because there are so many new faces. But from talking to Sonny Dykes, the thing that he needs is for leaders to step up. I think that's one of the things we don't talk about enough. That we always talk about replacing the talent and is this guy as good as that guy. But college football, comes down to leadership within the locker room and which teams are closer and which teams are playing together the hardest for the longest. And so he's going to have to replace a lot of those guys and find some guys within that locker room that can step up and kind of lead this team.
Now, would you say, Mike, that there's a lot of belief about Sonny Dykes himself as a leader with that football team and with the kids that are even just coming back? I mean, they believe in their head coach. I mean, you don't get to where they got to last year if they don't believe in that guy and his system and what he's about.
Yeah, I believe so. And I think the one thing with Sonny Dykes is we kind of use those Cal years as like the defining factors of who Sonny Dykes is. I think we've had enough time to look at Cal now and go, oh, well, that place just sucks. That's just like they don't care about football. They can't even build their own stadium. Like they're going to take UCLA Big Ten money to finish paying for their stadium. And so, I don't know if we take that off his resume, he won a conference championship at Louisiana Tech, and then he had the best 4-year run at SMU since the death penalty. And so he's a heck of a football coach. He's not a rah-rah guy. He may not be as splash higher as some of the other dudes, but he's a really good football coach. He knows how to put people around him. And so for me, it's just going to be interesting what they do offensively after they lose Garrett Riley. He's one of the best offensive coordinators in the nation. And so, what is Kendall Briles in that offense going to look like? But, I don't think there's many questions about Sonny. They love him there.
Yeah, I mean, again, at every position, quarterback, offensive line, Steve Avila is off to the NFL, and probably a first-round pick, maybe top 40. Quentin Johnston, Kendre Miller at running back. I mean, really the whole receiver core moves on. They were all veteran players. The kid at middle linebacker was really good. Tomlinson at corner.
Wow.
I mean, it's and you'll see those guys when we get to the draft in 2 weeks. You're going to see a lot of purple guys drafted by the NFL teams as well. Hey, Craven, go ahead, Mike.
They remind me of Baylor going into last year.
Yeah,
where it's Baylor still has a lot of good pieces, and we all kind of predicted them to still be pretty good. But then they go 6 and 7, and you're like, well, I should have known that, because how do you replace Jalen Petrie, Terrell Bernard, J.T. Woods, and be just as good? TCU feels that same way, where they're going to take a step back. It's just a matter of how big of a step back do they take.
You mentioned Baylor. I mean, it's been 3 years of Dave Aranda, 2 bad ones and 1 great one when they won the Big 12 and won the Sugar Bowl. What'd you learn in Waco about what Dave Aranda's doing in year 4?
Talking to Dave Aranda in a one-on-one interview is the most interesting thing I get to do every single year, because he's just such a philosopher. He's so different than every other coach. Like, we were talking yesterday, and he got into a rant about how, you got to build bridges between truth and love, and sometimes he's too far on the love side, needs to get more on the truth side and be a little bit tougher on his football players. And so, for me, it sounded like a team who maybe lost their identity a little bit last year. They didn't take in a lot of transfers because Aranda wanted to keep it pretty organic and go with the guys he had on his team and trust those guys. And, talking to him yesterday, he feels like that was a mistake, that he should have taken more transfers going into 2022 to help that roster. And so, they kind of went the other way with it and brought in about 10 guys that are going to help that roster that are already, kind of pushing the other people on the team. And so they feel closer to 2021 than they were to 2022. I just don't know if they have those kind of dudes on the roster that they had when they won the Big 12. I don't know if there's a Terrell Bernard or a Jalen Petrie or an Abram Smith at running back. They're going to have to figure out the stars, but I do think that they're in a better position than they were going into last year.
Michael, did you get a chance to go down to College Station at all and see any of what they're doing there outside of the Big 12, or you just stayed basically Big 12?
I will be there on Tuesday, but I was at the first spring practice where Jimbo kind of had that weird press conference. So I've been up there once. I go up there Tuesday to kind of do all the magazine stuff.
I'm sorry for you. I feel bad
that'll
for
be
you.
interesting, because it was a very awkward and weird first practice and press conference. We'll see where it is at the end. We'll check back in with Mike on that front. But, a lot of interesting observations from Houston, Baylor, and TCU. All 3 will be on the Longhorn schedule. Before we get to the Longhorns, Mike, is Blake Shapen still the scheduled starting quarterback for Baylor, or there'll be a competition there?
He was taking all the first-team snaps yesterday. I think he's the starter unless something weird happens and Sawyer's there to kind of push him, and I bet it's a shorter leash. That was one of the things that Baylor did last year as well, is I think Aranda did the right thing by announcing Shapen as the starter and allowing Gary Bohannon to get into the transfer portal and go find a place to play. That's the admirable thing to do. The downside of that, and the reason coaches don't do it as much, is because that competition needs to be there. You don't need to let people get that comfortable. And so I think Sawyer being there is going to push Blake, and he knows he can't play poorly and keep his job. He's going to have to play well. There's a guy there that's going to take his job. The problem with Sawyer is Baylor, they're going to run under center a decent amount, right? They run that wide zone, they get under center. Sawyer's the air raid guy from Lubbock who went to Mississippi State. He's never taken a snap under center until he got to Baylor. So, there's little things like that when you transfer into a new system that you got to work on, that from the outside I just would have never thought about. But when I was talking to him yesterday, they're like, yeah, he's got to learn how to take snap under center before he can really push to be the starting quarterback.
Michael, how are they offensive line-wise? Because they've got a nice young freshman running back from last year that played pretty well.
Yeah, they're losing. I mean, they lost 4 out of their 5 starters, and then I think the other one transferred. So it's going to be a pretty new offensive line. They brought in a couple guys from BYU that Jeff Grimes and Eric Mateus had recruited BYU. So some familiar faces there, but it's going to be a big turnover. They look the part. I mean, they're a big team. They look really good up front. Those guys just aren't experienced. They haven't played at Baylor, and so they just don't know exactly what that unit's going to look like. But Jeff Grimes is an offensive line guy. Eric Mateo is one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. I would imagine that ends up being one of the strengths of the team.
Yeah, that's the outside zone run game that they run there. But, so Blake Shapen, the quarterback at Baylor. You'll have Donovan Smith, the tech transfer at Houston, with Dana Holgerson and Chandler Morris in control there of that new-look TCU team. The Longhorns will have Quinn Ewers with Arch Manning and Malik Murphy behind it. What are you be watching tomorrow at the Texas spring game? And let me ask you this specifically. What do you look for when you go to watch a spring game and know you've got to write stories beyond that?
Yeah, spring games are always tough for me. I don't know where how Bucky feels about it either. We talked about it on the Eyes on Texas thing. It's just a glorified practice that these coaches can't stand for the most part. And if the offense looks good, does that mean the defense is bad? I don't know. If the offense looks bad, does that mean the defense is great or the offense stinks? I don't know. And so I try not to take too much from it or draw too many conclusions. But what you'd like to see is energy, excitement. Guys making some plays. You look for the young guys, like who's standing out, who just got there in the spring, who already looks the part, who's already getting into the first or second team. It's maybe some redshirt freshmen that didn't play last year. What are they looking like? So I guess I kind of look at it from the underclassmen standpoint, and then just to see what the energy is on the football team. But for Texas specifically, I think you're just looking for Quinn Ewers to look like he's in control of the offense in the way that he wasn't last year, that maybe he's going through progressions, finding his third receiver at times, making the right play, looking like a leader, just stuff like that, I think is what I'll be looking for on Saturday or tomorrow. I forgot what day it is.
Yeah, I'm looking for him to control not only the offense, but be over talking to guys on defense. Yeah, that leadership deal, when you talk about leadership, that's what I'd like to see from him. I know there's still going to be some mistakes. He's going to make some errors here or there, but his leadership will be important and how he handles things when things aren't going. When something happens bad, is he going to give you that hangdog look? Is he going to go over to the defense if they give up something and talk to them? Are guys going to respect him all over the field, not just on the offensive side, but special teams, everything else? What kind of leader is he on his football team? And that means as a team, how does he lead the guys even on defense? Because your quarterback's got to lead not only your offense, but they lead you generally on defense too. People respect you on defense.
And you would hope that being here for a full year now, he's able to do that. I do think sometimes when you transfer in, and especially when you're underclassmen and you transfer in, we got to remember he was basically a true freshman last year, age-wise. And so I think that can be tough. Right? You got to find your way in the locker room. There's already established leaders. There's guys that are older than you. You don't want to step on any toes. But now he's been there for a year, and he needs to take control of that job. Not just on the field like you were talking about, but off the field. Be the leader. Be the guy that is in all the huddles, that's walking around, talking to guys, picking guys up after they make a bad play, dapping them up after they make a good play.
Right.
I think a lot of times last year, and sometimes this is just on TV and what they show us and what they don't show us, but a lot of times last year it just looked like Quinn was off by himself, kind of doing his own thing on the sidelines and after plays, and you'd like him to be a little bit more engaged than that.
I do remember Colt McCoy being that guy who not only talked to the offensive guys, but Colt spent a lot of time with the defensive guys. He had the respect of all of his teammates, not just offensively, the wide receivers. Everybody just wanted to hug up on him and say great plays, but Colt McCoy would spend time with the defensive guys too. Those are things I noticed about certain kind of quarterbacks. Doug Flutie was the same way.
Sam Ellinger.
Dude, Sam used to be in the defensive huddle. What the hell are you doing over there with the defense? Well, I got to pump these guys up too. They got to give me the ball back. You just got to notice some of those things. I'd like to see it in this young guy this year, and this, as a matter of fact, tomorrow.
And I think the thing that Colt and Sam had was, they're hard workers. They're there every day. They're picking up guys at 6 a.m. to go get some individual work in. They're living in the video room. They're in the coach's office. They're in the meetings and stuff like that. What is Quinn doing that? I don't know those answers. I'm sure he is. And so those are the things that I think he needs to get better at. I do think the thing that we need to give him a break on is his age. He's not 21 yet, right? He's not like an upperclassman yet. He was a redshirt freshman, basically a true freshman, 18, 19-year-old last year. I would believe that with an extra year of, just sometimes having a birthday helps, right?
Sure.
We talk about all this different stuff that college guys can do to get better. Some of it's just growing up. And I think, being a five-star guy, then going to Ohio State and then coming to Texas, I think it was just such a whirlwind for him. He didn't really know where to fit in. I think now he knows how to kind of raise the temperature of the room, and that's going to be a big determining factor of how good Texas can be, because everywhere else, they look fine. On paper, there's not many places that you can go, uh-oh, that scares me. The only place that really does is like the intangible stuff, like, Sark play calling and being in sync with his guys and not giving up second half leads and the quarterback getting to his third progression. It's all those kind of things. I think that's a good place for this university to be in, and a place that we haven't been able to talk about it being in a long time.
Yeah, depth all over the place, and quality depth at that, and we'll see it tomorrow. Mike Craven, he's my co-host on the Eyes on Texas multicast we do every week. Hopefully you can check that out. Also with Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Last thing I want to ask you, Mike, is you covered Alfred Collins because he's going to be a guy I watch tomorrow. We've heard Sark raving about Byron Murphy being unblockable and some of the edge rushers that are coming, and Tavondre Sweat is back. I want to see Alfred Collins, and you saw him in high school, and you and I've talked about that on the EOT pod that he was a basketball player, and he's give me your thought on Alfred and what you'd be looking for now that he is expected to take that next big step, like we saw Keandre Coburn and Moro Ojimo make last year.
I honestly have the same opinion on Alfred Collins now that I did when he was in high school, and that's he has all the talent in the world. I mean, he's huge, he's fast, he's athletic, he's got great feet, he's a smart kid, he's a very nice guy. But on the football field, you got to turn it up sometimes. You just got to go and be a dominant factor. And he played at a high school where it was him and then nobody else. Like Bastrop Cedar Creek is notoriously bad at football, and he just I don't know if he's ever developed that. I'm just going to go just absolutely destroy that guy on the other side of me. I just don't know if that's ever been in him. And if he can find that, you don't have to walk around every single second of the day being that guy. But on the football field, you got to find that. You got to be able to find that switch, and he just hasn't yet. And then until he does, he's going to struggle with consistency because you don't have that edge, and he needs to find that edge on the football field. And if he does, he's going to be an NFL football player. If he doesn't, he's going to be one of those guys that we just talk about not living up to their potential for the next 10 or 15 years. We're like, man, you remember Alfred Collins? Like that guy could have been special. And so some of that's just up to him, and not everybody has that in them. Like I don't have that in me, right? Like that's why I'm not a great football player or anything like that, So like it's not a bad thing. Just as a football player, in order to take that next step where everybody on the field is really good, you have to find that mentality to take you over the edge, and he just hasn't yet.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem like that guy that when a guy's halfway down, he just goes and he kicks him right in the nuts and says, "Oh, I just kicked you in the nuts. Now you're really hurting." I mean, he just doesn't seem to be that guy to me. You know what I mean? He just missed out on getting that. Maybe tomorrow in the spring game, some guy gets nut kicked tomorrow, by him. Oh, that was just an accident.
Well,
Not
I know
really.
we talked about it, Mike, that he was more of a basketball player. His mom was a basketball player, and he just kept growing and getting bigger and bigger, and he kind of had to play football. And he's still trying to break through that and become an aggressive, dominating war daddy football player, because he's a good football player right now, but he has the potential to be a great football player. But he's got to find that switch and that gear, and we'll see if he can do it. See if Bo Davis can bring it out of him.
Mike, let me ask you this. I wanted to ask you this as you were talking about Sark and these relationships with these guys. What are your thoughts about him? When we talk about the players and we're talking about Quinn and everyone, is there this time now and coming up in this year where the players are going to have to believe in their coach, getting them out of some of these jams, with 3 minutes to go in a game, losing leads? Coach, what is it that you're going to do that we're going to trust in now too? Doesn't have to be a two-way street at times. I mean, Sark says the players are starting to look like I want them to look. They look like the team I've been looking for. Do you have that feel or that sense, or is it still early to tell whether they? I guess you'll be able to tell when the real games start that they believe in him now, to the fact that he's going to make the right decisions with a couple minutes left in the game, or he's not going to blow. He's going to call the right plays and push the right buttons.
I mean, I think that's the biggest unknown of the Texas football program is like, what are they when the last 2-3 minutes of the game is going on? You need that drive. You need that stop. Like, who are they going to be in those moments? Because they're going to be better than 8, 9, 10 of the people that they play on their schedule. But there's going to be 2, 3, 4 games where they're going to have to come up with like some maturity. And that's not even just on the field. That's in the headsets too, right? Like you have to have maturity. And I think that's one of the things that if we look at Sark's career, that's probably been the one knock on him. He's an offensive genius. He's a great coach. But there's times where off the field he's shown a lack of maturity. I think there's times on the field he's shown a lack of maturity, like the Alamo Bowl thing, the entrance and stuff like that. And so, he needs to be better at that stuff too. But what I've been impressed by this spring is how confidently he's been talking about this football program. He doesn't seem to be hiding from the fact that, hey, this is my roster and we can go be pretty good this year. And a lot of coaches, I think, would downplay that.
Sure.
He's leaning into that, I think, to pump up his team as much as anything, to like let his team know like, hey, we're good. We don't have any excuses. This is a year where we do not have any excuses. I think that's a good thing from him. I enjoyed his conversation on that Pivot podcast. I thought that was all really good to hear, him kind of talking about his past and some of those problems in the olive branches and how that allows him to kind of relate to players that are going through some adversity too. I think that's important to see as your coach because, as you know, you can't be hard on these guys unless you love on them too.
Yes.
And it seems like he's a lot more comfortable with that. These are more guys that he's brought in that he likes and that he feels good about. And I think that's going to help too. I don't know how confident he was in a lot of the players on the roster when he first got here. It feels like he's a guy who's a lot more confident in those players, and maybe that is seen in the play calling.
Yeah, two-way street. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
It's got to be mutual for sure. All right, Mike, a little extended visit right there. Appreciate it, my friend. We'll look forward to seeing you in the spring game. We'll talk again next week, and you and I will record another edition of the Eyes on Texas multicast. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Mike.
Talk to y'all later.
There's Mike Craven. Dave Campbell's Texas football, doing great stuff right there. Good intel. Somebody asked about no Texas Tech. Mike's been out to Lubbock, but it's been a bit, and we'll get Mike back and talk about Texas Tech and A&M after he visits those campuses and gets his thoughts, because that's what it's about, the spring, and not just for Texas, but for the Longhorns' opponents in 20 and 23. I know there's a lot of confidence in Joey McGuire out there in Lubbock. So we'll pick this up on the other side. We're late to the break. We'll also have a Craig Way report, salacious gossip, your blitz before the end of the hour. It's a busy, busy Friday on B&E.
Hey, all you regulators. Cody Ryan here with the Outdoor Zone. TJ Graney, Beefsteak, and myself would like to invite you to join us every Sunday morning right here in the bunkhouse from 7 to 9 a.m. where we talk hunting, fishing, guns, and God. Yeah, it's just an old tin shack on the back of the ranch, but we call it home every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here, live in the bunkhouse, or 24/7, 365 at theoutdoorzone.com.
This weather update brought to you by Total Men's Primary Care. Taking care of your health has never been easier. Go to TotalMens.com and find the location that is right for you. Total Men's Primary Care, the doctor's office just for men.
Looks like we are finally wrapping up southbound I-35 near Breaker Lane. Again, we had a spill cleanup earlier, but looks like we're just about finished with that. We do have those delays coming down from Wells Branch, but not quite as heavy as they once were. Northbound on the interstate from Slaughter to Stastny and Old Torf to Cesar Chavez. Yeah, that's going to be slow. Looks like they've cleared the crash west side of 290. This was going to be near Scenic Brook, but that's gone, so great news there. Airport at Oak Springs, injury crash at that location. 40th at North Lamar, we have yet another. And here's one on Kimbrough Road at Old Highway 20. That's going to be in the Manor area. And Slaughter Lane at Bluff Springs. That crash is still working. I'm Don Miller, and there is your traffic.
We're mic'd up at Tomfooleries at Kalahari Resorts.
Whoa! How did they fit a roller coaster in here?
See you at the finish line, Dad.
Not if I see you first. Woohoo! Mom, you're the coolest.
Here comes the drop.
Let's hit the Hall of Mirrors.
This place has me feeling like a kid again.
Come to Tomfooleries, only at Kalahari Resorts in Round Rock, Texas, and play for the day without booking an overnight stay. Check us out at TomFooleriesadventurePark.com.
This is Scott Crossett. I started Apple Leasing in 1985, and I thought, what a great business model. I can lease any make and model of car. My clients only have to pay for the portion of the car they're using. Heck, if I treat my clients right, I should be able to keep them forever. Well, fast forward 37 years, I am now leasing my clients' kids' cars too. But more importantly, Apple helps thousands of clients navigate the cost of the vehicle expense. That's what it's all about, your expense. From high gas prices, no inventory, high interest rates, you name it, we've seen it all. Apple Leasing, our mission is to help you manage your vehicle expense. That's it. I've never seen a crazier market than today. Call Apple Leasing at 512-346-9977. We'll take the time to understand exactly what your needs are and what you're trying to accomplish. Remember, we specialize in helping you get out of your current lease. In these times, when everything costs more, we can offer a more budget-friendly option to drive a car. If you want to talk to an automobile professional that will listen to your needs on an unbiased opinion, call us at 512-346-9977 or click appleleasing.com. Apple Leasing, we're just leasing cars and making friends.
When it comes to selling your car, the easy money is at Henna Chevrolet.
I was getting my car appraised at CarMax when I saw Henna's giant billboard offering $500 more than CarMax and thought, why not? It's a 10-minute drive. Now I've got an extra $500 in my pocket thanks to Henna.
Just present your written appraisal offer within 7 days and you'll get $500 more, guaranteed. Come get your money at HennaChevyAustin.com. Find new roads. Did you know there are two things people realize when buying a bed? Mattress research is hard, and everything sounds the same. So, how do you find the right mattress? Simple. Just follow the science to Factory Mattress. At Factory Mattress, our exclusive Right Fit mattress matching technology uses science, not salesmen, to take the guesswork out of mattress shopping. Plus, come experience Smart Life, the auto-adjusting, no-compromising bed of the future.
My Factory Mattress.
Upgrade to a smarter night's sleep this weekend, and we'll pay the sales tax, while you save up to 53% on over $170,000 in closeouts, with 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, get it home smarter, not harder, with free next-day delivery, setup, and removal. Experience the benefits of deep, restorative sleep by finding the right mattress today. Shop smarter, sleep better at Factory Mattress, for the love of sleep.
My Factory Mattress.
It's Bucky and Erin.
Appreciate Mike Craven. Good conversation, extended conversation. That'll make this a shorter segment ahead of the Craig Way Report. But good content with Mike. That's why I love doing the Eyes on Texas multicast with him. Part of that Dave Campbell's Texas Football Podcast Network. Also here on The Horn. We always post that up for you on our YouTube page here at The Horn. Also on the Dave Campbell's YouTube page. You can listen to it on iTunes and Spotify as well. Always good content. Thank you to Mike. Appreciate him. Coming up for the top of the hour, salacious gossip ahead of your Blitz. It's a Friday Blitz, so it could get rowdy ahead of the spring game. Got a new piece of news on Pete Davidson that you need to know, Buck, and Ty needs to know. Pete Davidson, you know him, Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, I'm not really in tune with that dude. What is he doing now?
We'll do that in gossip coming up. But if you there's a rumor about him. There's a rumor about him. And if you have that rumor, well, we'll pick that up coming up. Also talking NFL draft in 2 weeks, the busy weekend on tap. Also, Buck, we were talking about they've teed off. The first round is in the books, and they're back underway in round 2 of the event at Harbortown, the RBC Heritage on the PGA Tour, following up the Masters, and that Rory McIlroy withdrew from the tournament after he didn't make the cut in Augusta. He's got something going on. He withdrew from the tournament, which the PGA Tour warned these guys: if you sign up to play in these events, that we're going to, raise the purse and make featured events. We need you to be there. So he's going to get docked $3 million of a $12 million check he's already collected. So Rory getting docked $3 million. But we talk about golf, Buck, and its competition with LIV and how the LIV Tour, they performed well at the Masters, but they're not getting any TV ratings. No one's watching them. No one's paying attention to what they do. The opposite is true on the PGA Tour. There's 6 designated events. Viewership is up across the board with this new look PGA Tour. Golf Channel's up 15%. They're up on NBC and CBS, and the final round of the Masters was up 19% on Saturday.
And still you have guys cheating and
Brooksy
playing slow.
Yeah, Patrick Cantlays, we got to figure him out. But yeah, so golf is in the mindset, but the LIV guys still have not caught any. And people will talk about that. Here's what I don't get about but what's on the CW. Nobody knows where the CW is. Every television has a viewer's guide. All you have to do is push guide, and it's going to tell you. Who cares if you don't know what the channel is?
Isn't the CW like local programming most of the time?
Well, sure, but it's right there. You got channel 36, 42, and the CW is the next channel. It's not like it's buried somewhere and it's hard to find. You got to get it on a streaming service somewhere. It's right there. And so again, if people wanted to find it, it's not that hard to find. And that would be my thought on there's just not interest in that format.
No.
Not
I'm
yet.
not interested in team. That's why I have the Ryder's Cup. That's what I like. I don't want to watch this every week, guys playing on teams.
Well, wait till we get back to the Ryder Cup, right? And you've got to cross.
That'll get real.
Tours, and that's what a lot of these lawsuits are about right now with the LIV golfers. They still want their performance in the LIV Tour to help them with points to qualify for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them saying, no, you're not even going to play on the Ryder.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the threat. That if you jump to that tour and take the bag of money, then
bag of dimes.
In the short term, you'll still be able to play in some of these, in the majors, but you lose your exemptions over time, and you won't be able to be part of the Ryder Cup team. And this is what golf has always been built on. You win enough tournaments, you play well enough in the world rankings to then make a Ryder Cup team, be in contention in majors, obviously win week-to-week PGA Tour events, and that gives you, the status that you need to play and be a Ryder Cup player. Because of course there are 8 automatic qualifies for each Ryder Cup team, and then the captain gets to pick 4 at-large players. So yeah, those are all. That's what this is. There's a lot of politics involved in this whole split tour thing. But in the end, the viewership for golf is way up so far here in 2023. So that's a good thing for the overall game.
You know what they have on more than I have ever noticed is fact they have a lot of college golf.
Yeah,
on.
Well, Golf Channel has done a good job.
That, yeah, they've done a great job.
It's really on Golf Channel because that's what and that should be the Golf Channel's objective is to promote golf.
Or do they ever?
As much as possible, and I think they do that, which is pretty cool. All right, some text coming in on our conversation with Mike Craven. This says, Mighty Red Raiders will win the Big 12. Book it. Book it, Buck. It all goes through Lubbock. They're believing in the mayor, Joey McGuire, out there in Lubbock.
Well, you had a really fantastic first year.
It says, isn't the Pac-12 negotiating with the CW? That I've heard that. That yes, this is where the Pac-12 is. The Pac-12 is about to implode. We know that. I still am hearing a lot of confidence that Colorado and Arizona will be joining the Big 12 at some point, and will further cripple the Pac-12 because the Pac-12, their commissioner George Kliavkoff has not been able to put anything in front of the league, the team presidents, the school presidents, that anything that resembles a media rights deal that they want to sign. It is weak, and this is all driven by revenue from television and now streaming. And yes, there is a report out there that they were.
You know what I forgot to ask you about is you were talking the other day. I don't know if you told us about what is it YouTube and the package, the NFL package.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we ever got to. How much is that going to cost? I mean, is that going to cost
about $50 more than last time?
That's it?
Than previous years, yeah. They're going up about $50, and it's different. Well, here's the thing on that's important. If you're already a YouTube subscriber, which Ty is, and you are, then it's a lower rate. It's like $350 for the season. And if you order it before June 6th, I think you get $100 off that.
What the hell was it on the other one?
About $300.
It was about the same. Okay,
yeah, about $300 for the year. And if you want to add the red zone, if you couple them, it goes up again. But if you're not you can also order it if you're not a YouTube subscriber. You just have to pay extra. You got to pay an extra $100 essentially across the board.
It's going to cost you like $4 if you don't have YouTube.
Yeah, about $450.
Wow.
And that's for the entirety of the season. So obviously you could split that up over the 4 or 5 months of the football season. Well, really, when it's DirecTV, it's September through December that you get all the games and all the markets. But yeah, that's the new deal. And this is why, going up in this and what YouTube is in, Apple TV coming in to stream the Thursday games, all the additional revenue that's coming in. That's why the next TV deal or the next collective bargaining agreement, the salary cap's going to explode. I mean, they've got a new CBA, but when the new money hits the books, because remember the NFL players and the teams split 50-50 all revenue. So as revenues rise, the split of the 50-50 goes up, and that raises the salary cap. The salary cap is all based on total revenue, so there's an expectation of a very big increase coming in the salary cap. But yes, you're going to have to pay for it. You're already YouTube. You should be good.
Except for that extra $3 if I want it all.
Well, you were paying that anyhow if you had it. That was already being paid. But with DirecTV, and I don't know if this will be the case with YouTube, you could spread out the NFL direct ticket payments over the course of your whole year.
That's right.
Right. So the money, it just added over the 12 bills.
That bill is just a little bit.
Like I would get a little note every year that says, "Do you want to re-up?" And they'll start including it on the bill.
Or you can just pay for it with one
lump sum.
One good week.
Look at him. One good weekend.
Preseason week 4.
Come on, baby. You go
3 now.
I didn't get that tax break like you got. I got a hit hard.
This guy says, I think I'll keep bootlegging my China cable, $40 a year. Where do you get the China cable?
What the hell is that?
Is that my friend Juan?
Yeah, where is this guy?
Is that Juan?
Is that Juan doing that? I got a buddy Juan that has promised me magic.
Really?
Yes. I got to go buy this card or something.
Dude,
and then
at one time I had that card, that little card that used to be out. I had that card.
Well, you can buy the card at like Target. You can buy the card, but then
I had a friend who hooked it up.
You have to know the programming number to be able to unlock it. But apparently Juan has the number. So
is this like a DirecTV vigilante employee?
I don't know.
Out to get him.
We'll come back. Salacious gossip and load up a Friday Blitz. It's B&E on the Horn.
It's time for the Craig Way Sports Report. Now, here's Craig Way.
The area's 2 Division I collegiate athletic programs have busy weekends on tap. In softball, Texas State is at first place Louisiana this weekend in Sun Belt Conference play, while Texas will host Kansas at McCombs Field tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. You can hear all 3 games on 105.3 The Bat. In baseball, Texas State hosts Marshall, while Texas travels to Waco today to open a 3-game weekend series at Baylor tonight. You can hear that one on The Horn, 104.9 FM. And tomorrow afternoon, it's the end of spring football practice for the Longhorns with the annual orange-white spring game on the UT campus. So much talk among fans and media about Texas quarterbacks Quinn Ewers, Malik Murphy, and Arch Manning making big plays. But head coach Steve Sarkisian says it's more about avoiding the big mistakes.
One of the things I assess a lot is can they not make a bad play worse? And when we use the adage, don't turn a fender bender into fatalities. Bad things happen in football. Guys miss blocks. Guys run the wrong routes. That's going to happen. It's okay to throw the ball away. They might know a screen is coming, throw the ball away, not throwing it to a defensive lineman, because those can be catastrophic errors. And the guys that can do that, that's a positive sign, because those are winning plays as well. As important as it is to throw that post route for a touchdown, it's equally as important not to force a ball into coverage when you're backed up and all of a sudden you throw a pick six.
You'll be able to hear tomorrow's spring game on the Horn with coverage beginning at 11 a.m. and the kickoff at 1 o'clock. And coming this afternoon, Coach Sark discusses what will comprise the spring game. That's in our next report. I'm Craig Way.
The Craig Way Sports Report.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflow and allowing you to better communicate within your organization and with your customers. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. Great people, great service, endless possibilities.
Put your green thumb to work this spring with Callahan's General Store for all of your garden needs. With a wide variety of tomatoes, peppers, and other plants from Callahan's, adding raised garden beds is a great way to maximize your garden space. And Callahan's General Store can help you do it. They have everything you need to get started, including all the tips and hints you'll need from the experts along the way. Get your hands dirty and watch your gardens grow with Callahan's General Store, still there at 501 Bastrop Highway between downtown and the airport. Remember, make it a Callahan's Day. If you have joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Erin Hogan, and that is absolutely what you should do. The folks at QC Kinetics use the latest and most advanced regenerative treatments to bring you lasting pain relief the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your body's own healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. And QC Kinetics has hundreds of clients all over America, about thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond the steroids and the surgeries and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year when the weather has turned, you need to be living your life to the fullest and doing all the things you love to do. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to at least check it out? So do it today. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation, just a free sit down at 512-593-4303, 512-593-4303. They have a location in Austin and in Round Rock. It's QC Kinetics.
It's the perfect time to transform your home or business with fresh new color. The team at CertaPro Painters of Greater Austin handles every detail, worry-free, from start to finish. CertaPro Painters is the painting service you can rely on here in Austin, whether painting inside or out. John Bennell and his team are ready to protect and beautify your space with a fresh coat of paint. Go with the pros at CertaPro Painters of Austin. Get your painting project started today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Craig, wait, you've heard me talking about Divided Sky Roofing and Solar and how we all know they do great roofs, but they're also certified electrical contractors and can install a backup battery or a generator. No one wants to be without power for a few hours or even days like so many Austinites have experienced recently. Divided Sky can help you be prepared for any short or long-term power outage by installing a backup battery or a Generac generator. Backup batteries come with a 30% federal tax credit. Give them a call at 512-995-ROOF, TEC license number 37397.
Most in the greater Austin area know that it's quite stressful trying to maintain a quality lawn. The answer is to hire the best local lawn care company, us. This is Terry with Weedman Lawn Care of Austin. Our turf management PhD trains outstanding techs and buys only the best of products. We make your yard greener, thicker, more kid-friendly. Strive to be weed-free and do so with an environmentally sound approach to lawn care. Suzanne M. of Hutto says, our family has been very happy with the Weed Man. Had lots of weeds, not anymore. I love these guys, very helpful and great. Thanks, Suzanne. Go to weedmanusa.com today for a free quote and see how we'll relieve your lawn care stress. Weedman is recommended by landscapers, golf course superintendents, and people like Valerie Kay of Leander. This is Valerie, and I just called to say I love you. You do a great job, and everyone I come in contact with is so nice and helpful. That's quite a compliment. Go to weedmanusa.com for a free quote. Lawn care companies are not all alike. Go to weedmanusa.com today.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings.
Hey, it's Bucky. There was a time when my back seriously needed a lot of relief. Then I found Relax the Back with a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle. Their motto, Live Wellness. And right now through April 24th, save yourself 20% on all human scale ergonomic office chairs and desks. Get 48 months, 0% interest financing and up to $1,000 off select full body massage chairs through April 30th. Live pain-free with Relax the Back. In BK's at the Hill Country Galleria across from the Whole Foods, and in Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store.
The Horns text line is brought to you by Specs, a Texas-sized selection of wines, spirits, finer foods, and specialty beers. Cheers to savings.
Where you get that from? Did Tawana tell you that? Did Tawana tell you that? Because I ain't for no games, okay?
No games, just gossip. Brought to you by the Frosty Cold Icy Bud Lights. Great opportunity tomorrow. Tailgate with Texas and the Orange-White scrimmage. Brought to you by the Texas One Fund. And we'll be down there at 11 a.m. So come on out. Bring your coldies and have some fun. Get ready for the game. It's free entry. Get an autograph session with the team at 9. Live music before and after on the Longhorn City Limit stage. And the weather looks tremendous. So lock it in. By the way, Ty, you said you looked up the tickets to the Two-Steppin' Fest up there in Georgetown that features Zach Bryan and Tyler Childers and Midland, and you said the ticket price is good, big.
They're expensive. I don't know if that's good. But
it's a great lineup.
Yeah, for that lineup, it might be worth it, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great lineup. What'd you say, like 170 a day?
Yeah.
Ooh. You need to do some gambling.
I mean, I might make it up. Might make it up there on Sunday. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Depending on how tonight goes.
See if I can help you out. That is a C3 event, I believe, booked event out there, the Two-Steppin' Fest in Georgetown. Load up the Blitz, 447-3776. All right, Buck. So, this guy Pete Davidson, you know him on Saturday Night Live, Ty, right? He's funny guy,
butthole eyes.
Now he's got this list of girlfriends, right? That is pretty legendary. Pete Davidson has, he's got Ariana Grande. He dated Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, he's
much older than him.
Got the magic wand.
Kim Kardashian,
and the list goes on, which has led a lot of people to assume that yes, he's got
Tristan's deal.
He's got the magic stick.
Yeah, he's working the magic stick. Yeah,
and that's why I said earlier, if you're Pete Davidson, why would you want to disprove this rumor? But Pete Davidson, in an interview on a podcast, busted his own myth yesterday. He said, I just don't understand that. There's really nothing that special about it. It's just a normal size.
He's not tripoding?
His diz. Here's what it is.
It might be normal. He's like 6'5", though. Normal can be different.
Yeah.
Normal is different
from different people.
He's tall, yeah.
Whenever I would see Pete Davidson on Saturday Night Live, he'd always reminded me of our former colleague, Brad Kellner. And he's wiry, and he's funny, and his facial, he's weird. He's much weirder than Brad. Like all the tattoos, and he's out there. But,
is he funny? I don't follow. Is he funny? Is he witty? What is he? What does he do besides working the tripod?
He was probably the only funny person on SNL. But he's like a hateable funny. Like you hate him, but he's
an irritant sometimes.
And he King of Staten Island. He was in that movie that came out like 2 years ago with Bill Burr. It was about his dad, who was a firefighter, died during 9/11. It's a pretty good story. That movie's really good if you haven't checked that out.
What's it called?
King of Staten Island.
King of Staten Island.
Him and Bill Burr.
Can I say one thing without spoiling?
So he can act.
Can I say now that it's a weekend, this week's episode of Succession, which I said was so great. Have you seen it yet, Ty?
Watched it yesterday, yeah.
Pretty incredible, right?
Yeah.
No spoiler, but you realize they went to such lengths. They were running trailers for the upcoming season that were completely fake, not to give away what happened.
What you've given away.
No, I didn't give it away. You have to go watch it. But I'm just saying that's to the extent that the producers went to, because when the episode was over this week, there was a whole new run of teasers for the rest of the year, and they created completely fake trailers to preview season 3 or 4 that didn't even exist. It wasn't even going to happen, which is to keep it, that episode in the future. Pretty well done by the producers there at Succession, I have to say. And if you're Pete Davidson, why would you want to squash that rumor? You just let that fly, don't you? Just let that run.
Yeah, run with that one.
Yeah.
It's insider information.
Right. Like, get the girls talking about it. Is it really?
No, they just want to find out for themselves.
That's exactly right.
That's why he doesn't want to say anything.
Well, he didn't say it.
Yeah.
Why would he say that? That's what I'm saying. I mean, curiosity killed the cat. I may not like the guy that much, but I'm a little curious.
Is it true?
Is it? Oh, is it true? Let's go to the Blitz.
The Bucky and E Blitz.
The Morning Blitz brought to you by Apple Leasing, where you only have to pay for the new half of the car or truck, the half under factory warranty, in any make, any model. Click appleleasing.com and see how easy it is.
Here we go. First Blitzer, you're up.
Hey, Coach Stark, a mere puppy dog scratching on the back door wanting to rule the backyard. Bucky, where was E when we were spreading sugar on Kyle Field?
My goodness.
Remember
the Alamo.
I remember that game.
There you go.
I was at KV24 doing an internship at the TV station on that game.
Next Blitzer, talk to us.
I got to say something to Angel Reese. She is a marketing genius, an absolute marketing genius.
Thank you there, Sal. Have a great weekend, buddy. Next Blitzer, you're up.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
2 things for you. I don't care what pound the ball blitz caller says. We want to see Quinn throw them bombs. And second thing, is it true that E reported the reason why the Mavs tanked that last game was so that Lumpy Luka wouldn't miss the buffet hours?
I didn't report that. They did tank the game, though.
Wow. Next Blitzer, you're up.
Around here, it's no myth. I lay the law down. This is Sheriff Duncan.
Wow. Next
Tim
Blitzer.
Duncan.
Next Blitzer, you're up. Thanks, Sheriff.
Yeah, y'all talking about all the different ways to watch football and all that. They're pricing me the hell out of major sports. I can't afford it. I got to choose football, baseball, hockey. Can't watch them all. Can't afford it.
Got to get that China cable. Somebody told us about.
Wow. Juan. Next Blitzer, you're up.
The Jim Rome show has 2 rules. Have a take and don't suck. And yesterday, Sal violated both of those rules.
Wow. Oh, no. Let's go. Wow.
Now, somebody on this Pete Davidson thing says, during his stand-up routine, Pete says that Ariana Grande started the rumor when they broke up so that his future girlfriends would get their hopes up and then be disappointed.
Oh, reverse.
The reverse psychology of it. Okay, here we go. Our texter named Clever Name says he's being modest, which is a great way to get people interested. I do the same thing.
That's true.
I do the same
There
thing.
you go.
You people. Hey, final hour is coming here on a Friday. We may have a very fun guest coming up. We're hoping. I'm waiting on a text message to confirm. I'll let you know what that is coming up. It would be a good talk about basketball, Texas basketball, and potentially some NBA playoffs. So we'll have that coming up on the other side of a quick timeout.
Soccer fans, join nationally recognized commentator Glenn Davis every Monday on Soccer Matters at 7 p.m. Presented by John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm. Whether you love Austin FC, the Premier League, or Liga MX, Glenn has cutting-edge interviews from around the world, strong opinions, and you, the passionate soccer fan. Soccer Matters with Glenn Davis on the Horn. Presented by DaspitLawAustin.com. Soccer Matters, Mondays at 7 on the Horn.
Stop putting off LASIK. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK is now offering LASIK starting at $4.95 per eye and guaranteed financing approval. Call 512-596-2020 or go online to schedule your free consultation today. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK, official LASIK provider of Austin FC.
Just got a good look at southbound I-35 near Breaker Lane. We've been talking about this ever since we came on the air here this morning. The good news is they're done with the cleanup. Now, it was a crash, it was a spill, they had to clean up the spill, but just in the last half hour, they've left the area. So things are still a little slow through that region. It would be anyway, but all lanes are getting through, so that's just fine. Northbound on the interstate, Slaughter to Stastny, Old Torf to Cesar Chavez, a tad heavy. Westbound on Highway 71, haven't talked about that much, but it's diminishing. It was very slow from Garfield to Toll 130, but now things moving a little bit better. Just some backups, though. You're not going to get away completely there. We're checking for some crashes around town, otherwise and elsewhere. FM 812 near Toll 130. That's going to be on the northbound side or near the northbound side of Toll 130 at FM 812. A crash there. Southwest Parkway at Travis Cook Road. A wreck there, too. That's an injury crash. An airport at Oak Springs. Crews trying to wrap that one up. 40th at North Lamar. Another. I'm Don Miller. That's traffic.
Jeff Quick started Quick Roofing in 1984 with one house. That one house has evolved into over 200,000 projects. Quick Roofing doesn't require any money up front until 100% completion and 100% satisfaction is achieved. Quick Roofing requires a project manager on every job site, ensuring the customer is getting everything they were promised. Quick Roofing believes if you can't take care of the customer, then you're not going to have a business. Quick Roofing has been around for 38 years. Schedule your free inspection at quickroofing.com.
If the price you see is the price you want to pay, come see Henna Chevrolet.
I went to sign the papers for a new Tahoe and saw the price jumped almost $4,000. I thought it was a typo, but turns out it's for overpriced add-ons like tint and floor mats. So I called Henna, got a price, brought a check, and left with a Tahoe.
For a lower price made clear, find new roads at HennaChevyAustin.com. Did you know there are two things people realize when buying a bed? Mattress research is hard, and everything sounds the same. So, how do you find the right mattress? Simple. Just follow the science to Factory Mattress. At Factory Mattress, our exclusive Right Fit mattress matching technology uses science, not salesmen, to take the guesswork out of mattress shopping. Plus, come experience Smart Life, the auto-adjusting, no-compromising bed of the future.
My Factory Mattress.
Upgrade to a smarter night's sleep this weekend, and we'll pay the sales tax, while you save up to 53% on over $170,000 in closeouts, with 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, get it home smarter, not harder, with free next-day delivery, setup, and removal. Experience the benefits of deep, restorative sleep by finding the right mattress today. Shop smarter, sleep better at Factory Mattress, for the love of sleep.
My Factory Mattress.
Looking to sell your home on your schedule? Then lock in a guaranteed cash offer from Orchard and you'll start the spring with a celebration. And here's how. Before Orchard, selling your home was a long, stressful process. We've all been there. But with Orchard's cash offer, you can forget about showings, listings, even upgrades. You don't worry about waiting weeks, even months to sell your home. Orchard's cash offer guarantees the sale of your home and enables you to sell when you're ready. And Orchard can save you even more time and money by recommending and taking care of costly repairs, as well as specific home improvements. And to back me up, here's another 5-star review, this one from Matt here in town. It's hard to put into words how great our experience with Orchard was. First, there was the cash offer that exceeded our expectations. Then we sold our home with them for well above that price. Orchard gives you the certainty that your house will sell without all the hassles of selling it. Orchard's cash offer guarantees the sale of your home and enables you to sell when you're ready. Sell your home on your schedule? Then lock in a guaranteed cash offer from Orchard and you'll start the spring with a celebration. Get a free, no obligation guaranteed cash offer from Orchard. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com. One more time, Orchard.com.
Avenged Sevenfold in concert. The wait is finally over. A7X. Friday, October 13th, Germania Insurance Amphitheater. Special guest, Falling in Reverse. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Avenged Sevenfold. Live. New album out June 2nd.
Folks, Golden Chick's famous Wicked Wings are a hit in Austin. Right now, you can get 6 crispy, crunchy Wicked Wings and a fresh baked roll for just $6.99. Want another home run? Try Golden Chick's new Big and Wicked Chicken Sandwich. It's a tender hand-breaded chicken breast seasoned with their signature Lotta Zing with 5 pickles on an extra large fresh baked bun. It's bigger and thicker than any other spicy chicken sandwich and just $4.99. Available for a limited time only at Golden Chick.
From the UBO Business Services Studios, you're listening to KTXX FM and HD1 BK, KTAE AM Elgin, K270CO Round Rock. Guests on the Horn appear courtesy of the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina Hotline. Vaqueros now delivers and offers curbside pickup. For info on placing your lunch or dinner order, visit vaqueroscafe.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world.
Austin, Texas, baby.
It's Bucky and Erin.
You guys want to play some twos? You know what? Actually, we're kind of in the middle of a conversation.
B&E.
What's B&E?
Bucky Godbolt, Erin Hogan on the Horn, 104.9 AM 1260 and hornfm.com, where the Longhorns play and Austin talks sports.
B&A on a fun Friday. Been good stuff today. We talked to Eric Goodman, covers Austin FC for the Austin Chronicle. Good conversation with him. Big match for them, to say the least, tomorrow night against Vancouver. Vancouver right ahead of them in the Western Conference standings. They need to play a really good game just for the psyche of the ball club, the fan base, and that's tomorrow night. Also, we had good stuff with Mike Craven from Dave Campbell's Texas Football, talking Big 12 football and the Longhorns. And hoping to hear back. But mid-afternoon yesterday, I had a confirmation that we were going to have Sir Jabari Rice in the house this morning talking Texas basketball. But then late yesterday evening, Jabari got a call from his agent that he had set up a couple of meetings with some NBA teams because he's trying to find his way.
Well, who's more important?
I know. Well, we find that out pretty quickly. But then Jabari texted me this morning and said, what's the latest we can go? We can just do it by phone if I can squeeze it in. So I'm trying to hear back from him. So if not, we'll get Jabari in the house next week when he's back in town. But I'd love to talk to Sir Jabari Rice about his year at Texas and his future. He's off in who didn't enjoy watching that guy with the shot fake and all the huge shots he made this year. The Slim Reaper, as I started calling him, because he was just such a great player. So we'll get Jabari in here when we can. Maybe he'll call us about 9:30. We will see.
Cool.
Looking forward to that if we can. Also, Buck, there's a new leader at Harbortown, Justin Rose, your guy Rosie.
Rosie is back.
Along with Mark Hubbard, your leaders at the second round at the RBC Heritage.
Jimmy Walker trying his best.
Sung J M, Jimmy Walker, Victor Hovland, all at 7 under. Hovland hadn't even teed off today. He plays this afternoon. Jordan Spieth is having a good morning.
He likes Harbortown.
He's the defending champion of this event. He's to 6 under. Slow ass Patrick Cantlay's 3 under today. He's to 5 under. Scotty Scheffler's having a good morning. He's up to 5 under now. So Bo Hosser, how about Bo Hosser? He's at 4 under par. He's
Dude, I'm like you. I hate slow play. Even as the casual golfer out there, I don't get it. When I see guys, when they start bending over and, getting down on all fours looking at putts, it's just, or plumb bobbing. I don't think half the people that plumb bob that aren't professionals know exactly what they're trying to do, E. You know what I'm saying?
Grip it and rip it.
Huh?
Grip it and rip it.
Yeah.
John Daly.
Play the game.
Yes.
And, it's kind of interesting that they finally put very controversial to put the pitch clock on pitchers in baseball, right? Baseball's never had a clock. And I heard Gene Watson again yesterday with Craig Way. Gene Watson, the assistant general manager of the Royals, he was a proponent, or he was against it, and now he loves it. And that's been the case of a lot of old school baseball guys. And what Gene has talked about is that the pitchers are pitching better because they're not thinking as much. I mean, they're just getting the damn ball and pitching. Mm-hmm. And they don't have time to stand around out there and scratch themselves and think too much. Hey, what's the great line from Bull Durham? Don't think, meat, just throw. Yep. Don't think, just throw. And Gene says that their analytics would tell them that a lot of their pitchers, who are some of their slower pitchers, are actually pitching better. And that's what I would say to golfers, especially if you're a recreational golfer. Dude, just line up and hit the ball.
Don't be playing corners.
The longer time you stand over that thing and think about it, that's Because that's the worst part. When you're playing behind a slow player and you're standing waiting to tee off or wherever, or they're on, it's going to be a bad shot. Right when they back off of it, and then they practice swing again, they get back over it.
Or even when they have to make that shot of a lifetime that's like 320, that second shot, and you're like, hit it. You're not going to get there.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to go. They're waiting to go for the par 5 and 2. Yeah. They're 270 away, and
and their drive is 180 or something.
Following you this whole round. What are you thinking? You're not going to get the ball near the green.
You're going to be in the woods most likely, so just go ahead and swing.
Just go ahead and hit in the woods. You're not going to hit the people on the green.
Was there going to be a guy walking around with a shot clock?
Oh, my God.
We'll see that on the Live Tour soon, I'm sure.
I love it because when you're playing with somebody that's been right behind those guys, all they say is, okay, if you hit them, I'll go up and fight them.
I believe
you get it that close to them. I'll go fight them.
I didn't think our golf instructor from the Horseshoe Bay Resort that we have on doing the golf tips doing a great job, and others, Omar Uresti, who's with us, they would tell you that if you, especially as a recreational amateur golfer, your routine should be take a good practice swing, get over the ball and hit it. Get over the ball and hit it. Don't give yourself time to have your brain talk you out of it. And what was it the Harvey Pinnock always said that
take dead aim.
Yeah, take that aim.
Take dead aim. Don't worry about anything else. Just take dead aim.
Well, and
don't worry about the contours of the green.
And the biggest challenge in golf is the 6 inches between the golfer's ears. Is just once your brain gets involved. That's why you're so fluid and free on the driving range. I mean, you just stand there and there's no pressure and you're just whacking balls.
Yep.
And oh man, Ranger Rick, man, you are tremendous on the range. Well, you get on the course, then you start plumb bobbing, as you call it, over the ball,
gee.
and things go haywire. Just hit the ball. Hit the ball. Patrick Cantlay.
Come on, Cantlay.
This says shot clock in golf. Now they already have. You can be put on the clock by rules officials if you're playing too slow in a tournament. Players get put on the clock.
I always hear that, but I've never seen anybody get penalized a stroke. I've never watched a tournament where a guy
typically they'll speed up. If they get put on the clock, they know there could be a shot penalty coming, so they'll pick up the pace a little bit. But what we saw at the Masters was a joke. I mean, that's 5-hour round for Patrick Cantlay and Victor Hovland, and it's just two dudes. That shouldn't take you that long. Just get up there and hit the ball. You know the course.
And by the way,
they're playing it for the 4th day in a row.
Ladies, you play faster than the men.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, they do. They play faster than the men. They understand that, no, that putt right there, that 1-inch putt is a gimme. Not the guys who stand over and said, oh, no, you need to make that.
Well who drives better? I'm talking with the driver.
Oh, you mean with the makeup and the drive the car?
No, not the car.
Who drives better?
I'm kidding. Hey, how about this story, by the way? And we maybe wait for Jabari Rice to give us a text back. But this is interesting. This could have been salacious gossip, but it's appropriate. So Matthew McConaughey, I think you know him.
Mm-hmm.
He's the minister of culture. Well, he was on a podcast here this week with Kelly Ripa, because everybody has a podcast, including me now. Kelly Ripa's new Sirius XM show, it's called Let's Talk Off Camera. And Matthew McConaughey and his good buddy Woody Harrelson were on there promoting their new Apple TV Plus comedy series that we've told you about before. The show is going to be called Brother from Another Mother with Woody and Matthew. And according to Matthew, there will be about he and Harrelson's characters trying to live under the same roof with their respective families in Texas. It's going to show that the actors will portray fictionalized versions of themselves. And according to the actor, they're going to draw heavily on the two actors' friendship over the past decades, because Woody and Matthew are like best buddies. And while speaking about the show with Kelly Ripa, McConaughey, how about this little piece of salacious gossip, revealed that he thinks it's possible that Harrison is not only related to him, but may actually be McConaughey's biological brother. So here's McConaughey. What? Yes. He says, in Greece a few years ago, we were sitting around talking about how close we are as families, McConaughey explained, and my mom is there, and she says, Woody, I knew your dad. So in the podcast, he goes into this that maybe not only did McConaughey's mother know Woody Harrelson's dad, but they maybe knew each other intimately.
What?
Intimately. And so the revelation is that doing a bit of research into he and Woody Harrelson's family, they found out that Harrelson's father was on furlough at the exact same time McConaughey's parents were in their second divorce. And there are possible receipts that at places out in West Texas where there might have been a gathering or a meeting or a new moment.
23andMe or whatever that is.
Yeah, I feel like we could figure that out pretty quick.
Well, Harrelson is all for taking.
DNA.
Harrelson says he's all for taking a DNA test to confirm their brotherly suspicions. McConaughey is not sure if he really wants to do that or not.
Wouldn't his mom know if she gave birth to Woody Harrelson?
Well, she gave birth to somebody, but what the allegation would be is that she had slept with her husband or her soon-to-be ex-husband and Woody's dad.
Yeah, but
in a similar time frame.
But wouldn't she know? Like, did she give away Woody Harrelson? Was put up for adoption or something?
No, she raised him. She raised him. Like that's his mom. Assumption that that's his dad. But what they're speculating about was there an affair that maybe it was not.
I'm confused on how this worked out.
Well,
so they would be related through Matthew McConaughey's mother, correct?
Yes.
So she would have had to give birth to Woody Harrelson.
No, the allegation is that Matthew McConaughey's mother had an affair with Woody Harrelson's father.
Yeah, but women have to give birth, right?
Correct.
So that's how that would work, right? She would have to have given birth to Woody Harrelson for them to be brothers.
Right. That's what the allegation is, that she's the mom. There's no doubt about that. The debate is who's the dad. Was it Matthew McConaughey's dad, which was not Matthew McConaughey's mother's second husband, or was it Woody's dad?
Oh, so you're saying Matthew McConaughey's dad could be Woody's dad?
No.
Okay, I'm lost.
Let's go back to 7th grade biology class.
Scene 1.
Scene 1. There's one mother.
That's right.
Who may have slept with two dudes in a similar time frame. She gave birth to a child she thought was the first dude's, but it may be the second dude.
And that's Woody Harrelson.
That's the child. The child is Woody Harrelson regardless.
But wouldn't Woody Harrelson know who his mom is?
Well, that's what I'm reading you right now is exactly what they're talking about. That we're so close, maybe we're related. And when McConaughey's, so here it is. I'll read McConaughey again. He says on the podcast that his mother knew Woody's father, and that his mother hinted that they knew each other intimately. In Greece a few years ago, we were sitting around talking about how close we are and our families are, McConaughey explained, and my mom is there, and she says, Woody, I knew your dad. Everyone is aware of the ellipse that my mom left after knew. It was a loaded knew. So she said it in a weird fashion, like, I knew your dad.
I knew.
Like maybe I laid down with your dad. And maybe we had an affair. So the mother would she know that she gave birth to, Woody's father or does that make sense? Are you good?
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not.
I'm reading about it. I'll figure it out.
You're wondering why she would know who Woody is.
Yeah.
She's the one who gave birth to Woody.
Yes, exactly.
She knows she gave birth to somebody.
If they actually are brothers, the mother gave birth to both of them, right? And they're brothers.
Yeah, but how would she not know? Be like, did he just get given away? Like, what was his childhood? Wouldn't they know this at this point if they were brothers? If Matthew's mom, who he knows, gave birth to Woody Harrelson, I feel like, unless there was like he was put up for adoption or went out or his dad stole him, I don't know.
Well, so you're saying,
me.
Okay, but they're coming to this conclusion now that they're adults and they realize that they've been close friends for decades, and now mom has admitted that she was maybe together with Woody's father at one point. And Woody said, I did a bit of research into Harrelson and his family history, and they found out that Harrelson's father was on furlough at the exact same time that McConaughey's parents were in their second divorce.
They could have the same father.
Correct.
Not the same mother.
No.
That's what it has to be. Yes. A texter just explained it. It makes sense now.
And these texters, you guys are so mean. Don't be mean.
Well, no, McConaughey just said his mother said that he knew Woody's father and that they may have been intimate at the same time.
I think Matthew's confused about this too.
I guess I'm not understanding the confusion. I mean,
Bucky, do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Have you seen them? The more, well, explain to me what's confusing. That the mom had an affair potentially with Woody's father.
I'm just wondering how they got to the point where they were in Greece and like, was there a baby given away at some point? Because how would she not know?
She gave birth
she gave birth to a child.
An extra kid. Here's birth.
And now randomly it's Woody Harrelson. That's the confusing part for me. Like where did Woody Harrelson come from?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the question is who raised Woody Harrelson.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, that would be that you would have to discover that. Like Woody has a mom that he thinks is his mom and has always thought is his mom. What the allegation here is that, Woody's mom is his mom. Right?
Yeah, they're just leaving this open-ended, but it shouldn't be open-ended.
Pretty good promo for the show.
Yes.
Well, that's probably what it is. Is it like how A.J. Johnson and Jalen Green were brothers?
Different moms, same dad.
Hey, oh boy. No, they weren't real brothers. They were like brothers. They weren't
I learned
brothers.
that today.
Yes. You thought they were brothers the whole time,
Yes.
which is so funny. That I got a kick out of. No, they're like brothers. He's like a brother to me. Not really my brother. He's like a brother to me.
Okay.
Man.
Okay. Look, I mean, if the allegation is that they both have the same mother and father, is that what we're talking about here? I'm
Yeah.
just reading the story as it came out this morning because Matthew McConaughey was on with Kelly Ripa. And again, says his mother knew Harrelson's father. They may have been intimate. And that's his mother. Correct?
Yes.
Matthew says he's up for DNA test. Woody says he's not.
One says yes, one says no. But these texters are so mean. Don't have to be mean. Sorry if we're confusing you.
All right. We will continue the conversations, but that's out this morning.
Okay, hold on. I just got a caller that said that Woody's, instead of Matthew's dad being his dad, Woody's dad would be Matthew's dad. So that's where the brother connection. It would be through Woody's dad. Would be the brotherly connection.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Woody's dad fathered both of them.
Yes,
Yes, that's what and that's what it reads to me. That Woody's dad, yes, okay. Woody's dad would have fathered both. And this says, dude, mom would know. Well, okay. We'll see where this goes. That came out this morning. I'm reading it at the same time you guys are hearing it, and it is a confusing conversation. Yes, obviously. We getting this?
I got it now.
It's Friday. You all need to be confused. Not doing any work anyway.
Woody and Matthew might share the same father. That is the story.
Okay. The same father. Gotcha.
Not the same mother.
Just going to ask Matthew what's going on.
But then why would Matthew say in this interview with Kelly Ripa that his mother knew Harrelson's father and that his mother hinted they both knew each other intimately and made it seem like that, again, that's where this is probably just promotion for the new show that's coming out on Apple Streaming and Apple Plus. But Woody says he's open to DNA testing. Matthew's not sure. Matthew not sure. That's the latest, and that's the greatest.
Do it.
And I think I will.
We're looking at all of these specs text lines. They are just coming in.
I know. This says you need to go back to that biology class. The mother can't have a kid without knowing she has a kid. Well, what I'm saying is that the mother had a kid thinking it was fathered by a different person. I don't know.
The connection is the father. Woody's father.
Correct. Yes. That's that. Yes. With why would Matthew talk about his mother?
Well, so Woody's dad banged Matthew's mom.
See, I
created Matthew.
I knew it would get to this point.
And then his dad got with another woman, Woody Harrelson's mom, and had Woody. So they're brothers through Woody Harrelson's dad. So he is both their dads.
Okay. So but Matthew is the one in question, not Woody. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. I think that's what we've read. The mom is the mom is the mom.
Woody's dad assassinated JFK.
All right,
I mean, really?
All right, we'll come back.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't assassinate JFK. But look, I'm just reading this in real time, like you folks are, and McConaughey is the one doing research into his and Harrelson's family history and connected dots and timelines. And so that's where we are. We'll keep you posted on that. It has not been confirmed either way.
It means a brother from another mother.
But they are best buddies, and they are starting a show on Apple called Brother from Another Mother.
The title explains everything we've been wondering.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. Let's pick this up on the other side. When we do, we'll hopefully maybe talk to Jabari Rice if we can get him. That's got a message in here. We'll also see if we can get Some Texas basketball talk for sure on the latest decision with A.J. Johnson, the commitment from Los Angeles, California, who is no longer committed. He is headed to Australia to play professional basketball. We'll talk about the fluid nature of this Texas basketball roster. On the other side, it's B&E.
Chad and Zay on the Horn.
Was it on the end of I think it's at the end of that Raekwon album, the purple cassette.
Purple cassette?
If you will.
Please, if you ever run into any Wu-Tang member, don't ever say, yo, I love the purple cassette.
Oh, I got to say tape, right?
Tape.
Purple tape. My bad. Dadgummit, I was so close. Here I get to.
Oh, Ray and Ghost, I apologize. That was so disrespectful.
Weekdays 12 to 3 on the Horn.
The Wagner Wire. All right, it's the Wagner Wire tip of the week, and we're talking more fantasy baseball because Major League Baseball is in full swing, and it is spring. Easter just happened, so we got to get you some of the best Easter eggs in case you didn't get any for your fantasy sports information. Now, look, baseball's trendy, right? We're going with the trends. We're picking on the A's. The A's are terrible, baby. The Baltimore Orioles meet up against the A's this week, and then the Mets take on the A's. I like stacking Rutschman and Mullins in for the Orioles, and maybe sprinkle that with a little bit of Anthony Santander as well. I know the season just started, but the bats are popping in Birdland, and the Orioles like to run when they're on the bases, so that's why I like Cedric Mullins. Adley Rutschman can knock him in, and also Mullins is your leading RBI getter for the Birds too. Now look, swing that over to the Mets. Pete Alonso, leading Major League Baseball with 5 home runs this year on this short campaign. Gotta get him in your lineup. For more fantasy sports information, gotta hit me up on Twitter, @NotTheFakeWags. And listen to the show here on the Horn, Sundays, 9 a.m. to noon, presented by Audio Visual Consultations.
Sunny days are ahead as Ironworkers Local 482 Union is hiring 3,000 people right now for a huge new project. Maximize your potential today by applying at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org.
A crash on the south side, FM 812 near Toll 130 northbound. That's an injury wreck, so significant problems there. Another one, Southwest Parkway, Travis Cook Road. That one is clearing. Same thing, Airport and Oak Springs, but still could be working for a while longer. And the saga of southbound I-35 near Breaker Lane has finally ended over the last hour as crews have finally cleared up the fuel that spilled because of a crash around 3 o'clock this morning. We had one lane blocked off for most of the rush hour, but no more. I'm Don Miller, and that's traffic.
The first ever spring extravaganza is coming to Ron Hoover RV and Marine Center this Friday through Sunday. You'll find the best deals on the over 200 RVs, boats, and mowers in stock. Yes, this is better than show pricing, and for a limited time only. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there'll be hot dogs on the grill and a live DJ. Plus snow cones Friday and Saturday and ice cream on Sunday. And register for great giveaways. It's the first ever spring extravaganza at Ron Hoover RV and Marine Center, southbound 35 in South Georgetown. Open Sunday, 11 till 3. RonHoover.com.
Hey, it's Aaron Hogan. Are you in the market for a wood privacy fence for your home or business? The pros at Viking Fence have put together a how to buy a fence guide at their website to ensure that you get the best value for your dollar. It's a great place to find out if your contractor is specifying the exact grade of red cedar. If not, he may be substituting a lower grade that costs less. Is that same contractor specifying steel posts? Did they specify the thickness of the steel? Thin gauge steels are post to prone and breaking under heavy winds here in Central Texas. So visit them. The How to Buy a Fence guide at VikingFence.com. When you think fence, think Viking.
This is Scott Crossett with Apple Commercial Leasing. That's right, Apple Commercial Leasing, the home of the unlimited mileage commercial lease, and so much more. Are you looking for a smarter, more cost-effective way to handle your company vehicles? Do you need customized work trucks? Are you looking for ways to cut your transportation cost? Look to Apple Commercial Leasing for the quick, accurate solutions. For business owners large and small, the unlimited mileage lease offers you tax advantages, cash flow savings, low to no out-of-pocket expenses, no dealership hassles, and fast and friendly service. From light-duty trucks to medium-duty trucks, even commercial specialty vehicles, buses, even 18-wheelers, we can do it all. Experience the Apple Advantage. Give us the opportunity to bid, and you'll never regret it. Call for free quotes at 335-3273, 33Lease, or click 33lease.com. That's 335-3273. We will save you and your company time and money.
Gear up, Texas. Get ready for the Daredevils of MotoGP at Circuit of the Americas in Austin. See Mark Captain America Marquez, Fabio El Diablo Quartararo, Brad Bradical Bender, and Jack Thriller Miller, the greatest riders in the world at 220 miles per hour, elbow to elbow, all the way to the finish. MotoGP Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas, April 14th through the 16th. Get tickets now at thecircuit.com.
Hey, what's up, folks? This is your lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. By now, everyone knows that my favorite new tequila is Hot Cat Tequila. Hot Cat Tequila is my go-to tequila. The cat stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila, and the recipe just as simple, just as delicious, and just as brilliant. Cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. That's why it's so light and so smooth. Hot Cat Tequila is a tequila lover's dream, and if you're not a fan of tequila, Hot Cat Tequila will make you a fan of tequila. Hot Cat Tequila will turn any event into a party, and every party feels like a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Once you try Hot Cat, you won't go back to that old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you were ordering rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. So turn up your party with Hot Cat Tequila. It's the perfect way to pregame for the big games, the concerts, festivals, or a night on the town with family and friends. Hot Cat Tequila is best served cold for a quick round of shots or a sip on the rocks. So visit cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila or to find a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila.
Howdy, folks. This is Tom McKay with Audiovisual Consultations.
And Camilla McKay.
And we're here to talk about
cool
Kid, you can't cuss on the air.
Well, then what are we here to talk about?
About some huge LED video walls.
Yeah, kinda cool.
All right, how about killer sound system?
I guess that's pretty cool, too.
Okay, how about this? Hockey games so vivid you can watch the ice melt, and you feel the hits with house-shaking audio.
Yeah, we're talking. My Bruins are going to the playoffs this season, you know.
Did you say your Bruins? Who the hell are you, and where's my kid?
Whatever, old man. Regardless of how or what you watch, audiovisual consultations can help you make your leisure time luxurious.
And remember, hug your kids, watch a game with your friends, and make love to whoever the hell you want.
Maybe even share a smile with a stranger.
Well, that's so nice, kid. Just give us a call at 512-255-8678. We look forward to hearing from y'all. Audiovisual Consultations.
Here's Midland.
It's Bucky and Erin.
One more night, one more down.
Yeah, Midland, part of that big event out in Georgetown this weekend, the Two-Steppin' Fest. That'll be cool. Played Zach Bryan earlier. You got Tyler Childers, who's tremendous, and Midland, who I believe make their homes, or at least some of the band, in Dripping Springs, Texas, where you live.
Down in my hood.
Pound Town. All right, final thing on Matthew McConaughey and his half-brother, Woody Harrelson, potentially. I just read the story, but if they do DNA testing, we would discover either Matthew McConaughey's father, who he's called his father his whole life, is indeed his father, or Woody Harrelson's father is Matthew's father. That would be the outcome of the DNA test. And yes, because Woody has his own mother, Matthew has his own mother, the father would be the same. And that's why Matthew McConaughey said, when asked by Kelly Ripa, would you want to do the DNA? Woody said yes, and Matthew said, it's a little harder for me. You're asking me to take a chance. Wait a minute, you're trying to tell me that my dad may not be my dad after 53 years of believing that? I've got a little more skin in the game. So he's not so sure about the DNA test. So
leave that be.
Leave that be. Or do you want to know?
You'll be always wondering what.
You'll be always wondering what.
Yeah.
That your mom is.
How about your mom admitting that to you when you're in Greece having some drinks?
Don't need it. Didn't have to say that, Mom. You could have kept that all the way to the grave.
Well, think about it this with Matthew. He not only did his mom say that, which piqued his attention, he was the one that went by his own in this interview. He went and looked into it. He connected dots and timelines and who was where at the time. And if Matthew's dad was furloughed at the time or whatever it was, well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll let that play out.
Yeah.
Sounds like a show I'd like to see, because I did love when those two did True Detective together. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great show. And by the way, I saw the trailer for the new True Detective. I think it's the fourth. You can't even call them episodes because they're one-offs, right? Each year is its own completely different storyline, actors and plot. It's there's a word for that. I don't remember it, but it's just a one-season deal. and but it's still under the umbrella of True Detective crime show, just completely different. And what's her name? Who was in? Who's the lead actress in Silence of the Lambs?
Jodie Foster?
Yes, she's in it. And it's based in Alaska. Yeah.
Catch a can.
Somewhere up there in Alaska. It looks cold in the trailer that I saw. Cold right now are the Texas Longhorns basketball roster, is the Longhorns basketball roster, because word came down yesterday that Texas high school signee A.J. Johnson decommitted from the program, and he has signed a professional contract with the Illawarra Hawks of the Australian National Basketball League. The 6'5" guard from L.A., one of two Texas signees in the 2023 class, along with Ron Holland. So this is the latest guard.
Is Ron Holland solid, or is that to still be played out? I mean, they're still.
Well, no, because I think there's what I've been told is he's solid, and I guess you're not solid until you're solid, but he is. He's coming to Texas out of Duncanville. Now, the thing with A.J. Johnson, we were told yesterday that the news broke yesterday and surprised everybody. Folks within the program are not surprised because the news kind of came down previously. They knew about it for the last week or so, and that Rodney Terry had flown to Los Angeles last week to meet with A.J. and just make sure. To do the final pitch. And it sounds like A.J. is going to make about $750,000 next year playing down under. And he's following, Jalen Green, the young star for the Rockets, is his. Okay, I'm not going to get us back into a brothers conversation, but he is
very close friend.
He's not his actual brother, but he's as close to a brother as you can be. So he's mentor and really, really close family friends and maybe brothers. I'm not going down that road.
Or they could be very close friends.
Yes, but one of the main reasons, in addition to Rodney Terry and the program and Chris Beard, A.J. Johnson picked Texas, is he wanted to be in Texas, closer to his
friend.
Buddy,
close friend, buddy,
godfather, mentor, Jalen Green.
Yes.
And remember, Jalen Green's path to the NBA was through the G League. He didn't go to college either. He went straight to the G League and then was the second pick of the draft by the Rockets. So this not super surprising within the family that A.J. Johnson would also choose to play professionally, not go to college, and move on. So, but it's just another piece that the Longhorns have lost. And since Rodney Terry has taken over, right? But as I've said, I don't know that any of it would be different. The one that is the most surprising to me that's leaving is Arterio Morris. But in talking to people close to the program, that maybe he was the one guy that seemed like an outlier, even not a great fit with the team this year. That
it just seems to me there was something he wasn't happy about.
Yeah, his minutes. But he as a this is the issue, right? McDonald's All-American. You come in and you're going to play a lot. Well, you're playing behind.
Sure.
Three really good guards, Marcus Carr and Jabari Rice and Tyrese Hunter. And I don't know the timeline of when Arterio Morris committed to Texas, but remember Jabari Rice, who we're hoping to talk to at some point next week. We were going to have him in here today. Hopefully we can get him soon. He was a really late commitment because he was a graduate commitment, and there's no deadline on when a graduate can transfer. He didn't transfer in until the summer. So, maybe if you're Arterio Morris, you're like, well, I'm going to be the third guard. I'll be the first guy behind Carr and Tyrese. I can do that.
Off the bench, yeah.
Well, now all of a sudden, Jabari Rice shows up, and he's a baller. We all saw what he was. And did that, further diminish Arterio Morris's minutes? And, he was a little bit disgruntled as the year went on.
The reality of it is, man, you're going to be playing the next year.
He can still come back, right? I mean, he's just in the portal.
He's in the portal. And maybe that is the case, and that maybe because what you just said is right, because they don't have a guard on the roster right now that they know is coming back. I think there's a thought, and a positive thought, optimistic thought, that Tyrese Hunter will get his information and be back, just like Marcus Carr did a year ago, and learn what he needs to work on, what the NBA is thinking about him, and how he can improve his game, and that he'll be back. But as far as you don't know that yet, so at this point,
people make promises to you at that particular time until some other guy gets here. And the guy's a baller, and your time is just limited a little bit, but that wouldn't necessarily mean you need to take off. I mean, that guy's gone.
Well, and anywhere you go, if you're Arterio Morris, it's going to be a new stop. Here, the staff. They know you. They don't have a guard under scholarship. If Tyrese Hunter indeed
you're going to get your playing time.
You're going to be the starting two guard, most likely. But again, every kid makes his decision. We talked to Jerry Hamilton yesterday, and he talked about that Arterio went home for Easter, and you get around your people that get in your ear, and the next thing you know, he's in the transfer portal. Who knows? Because you know how that goes, right? The circle.
I thought he grew. I thought he was growing as the year went on.
Love Arterio's game. Potentially, he's just so explosive. He's got those. He's long. He's got that body.
Fantastic defender.
Could be an elite defender and explosive scorer. Really, when he would get hot, man, the shot is pure. There's just so much to like about Arterio. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But as of now, he's in the portal. Dylan Mitchell is also declared for the draft. We know Rowan Brumbaugh also transferred. He's already announced he's going to Georgetown to go back to the East Coast, more close to his Massachusetts home, in Washington, D.C. So he's going back. Arterio Morris in the portal. Dylan Mitchell in the draft. And there's kind of more of a sense that Dylan Mitchell thinks he may be drafted in the second round, that maybe he'll get a team that tells him, hey, if you're available for us at the 55th pick, we're going to take you. And now, if that's the case,
if you go do this, if you possibly go and play here, yes, we will take you.
Well, no, I mean, that's the promise would be to be drafted in this draft this summer, and you would be a second-round pick. We're not taking you in the first round, but with our because teams load up on these second-round picks, in these trade acquisitions, and then all of a sudden you can take young players like that and plop them into the G League and let them develop. And I think for a lot of teams, Dylan Mitchell, and again, it only takes one team that looks at Dylan Mitchell and says that guy's a 5-star player. They didn't use him on offense this year. He didn't develop his offensive game. But again, looking to this year, if you're Rodney Terry, you're like, well, Dylan, we're going to put you in the starting lineup, and we're going to use you.
So these other leagues are professional leagues, period, outside of the D League, right? I mean, there are other leagues.
G League is professional.
Yeah, but they belong to the NBA. That's the NBA's source.
Yeah, that's
you go play these
team.
other places, you're playing
completely different league.
You can't then leave that place and go to the NBA the next year, right?
Yeah.
You can do that. I
Sure.
mean, okay, you're not signing 2 or 3 year contracts that you're kind of binding.
You're talking about the A.J. Johnson decision. He's
Right.
going to play in the National Basketball Association of Australia. So
Yes.
the NBA of Down Under. They're going to pay him to play. He'll be a professional player. The only reason he's not going straight to the NBA right now is they still have the 18-year-old age limit. So he can't go to the NBA right now. So his choices are go play at Texas.
So he can't play for a year and then be gone.
Yeah, he'll be right back in the draft next year. He's not eligible for the draft this year.
Gotcha.
He'll be eligible for the draft next year. So his choice is Texas or Australia.
Or $700,000.
Yeah, and go live in Australia. And the other part of that is, right now Texas doesn't have any guards, but they will. I mean, they'll bring guards in, much like as we said for the Sky is Falling crowd. Chris Beard, when he got here, only player he knew was coming back was Brock Cunningham. He had to go out and recruit an entire roster, which he did, and made the tournament in year one, and the guts of that team made it all the way to the Elite Eight this year and almost the Final Four. So it can be done, but now Rodney Terry and this staff, Frank Haith, now part of the staff and who's been a great recruiter, their job's to build this roster back, but it won't be with A.J. Johnson. We know that for sure. The Tyrese Hunter, Dylan Mitchell are still question marks, and to your point, Arterio Morris, until he picks a new school, is still possible, but at the same time, most are expecting him to go elsewhere. So that's where the Longhorn basketball team sits right now. And again, by the way, that 19-year-old age limit, that's going to go away. When the new collective bargaining agreement begins, the one and done is over. NBA players will be able to go straight into the draft. They'll be eligible for the draft right out of high school. And then and the NBA is going there because they feel like the G League has been built to such a point where, back in the day when the one and done was put in place, they were drafting 18-year-old kids, and their only place to put them was on an NBA roster, and they weren't ready to play. There was no way to develop the player. So now they'll go straight, either if they're good enough, if they're Kobe or KG or one of these guys, LeBron James, they can go straight to the team and compete. If not, they can play in the G League and develop there, and not ever step foot in college. So
absolutely,
it's the changing face of the game, obviously, and the sport and how it works and operates, but it's a year-to-year challenge, which is why this year was such a fun team for Texas, because you pretty much brought everybody back and you added Tyrese Hunter to the team you had built on the fly year one. You had
a really nice year.
You added Tyrese, you added Dylan Mitchell, and you added Arterio Morris to a core of players, which was what led to such excitement to start the year. That, man, this team is deep. This team's got a great mix of veterans and youth, and obviously we saw that play out with a Big 12 tournament championship.
Got to have guards, and you got to have Dylan Dessou. I'm saying you got to have them, but
Dylan,
that doesn't guarantee anything that you're going to have them.
And everything I've heard is that Dylan Dessou they're optimistic that he'll be back. that he's going to come back and build on what he did at the end of last season when he became a go-to guy for them. And Ron Holland will be here. That'll be basically the beginnings of your front line. We know Rodney's been out meeting with what's the big 6'10" kid from Virginia that they like, who's likely, most people think he's a Duke lean. He's a true big 6'10" player, but he can also shoot the basketball. They're on the portal trail without a doubt. And now their recruiting class of 2023 is only one, and that's Ron Holland. But I
got to believe this is no surprise. They knew stuff like this, as you said, it was going to happen to Chris Beard. This is the way college basketball is.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll never know if it would have been different at all. I mean, if you hired a new coach and who hired a new staff,
they're going to be looking.
They'll all be gone. And that staff would be looking to bring in their own guys. I mean, that's just natural. But, who knows where it stands. Right now, Texas does not have a guard that they know will be back at this point, and they don't know about Dylan DeSue. You know what they do know about? Brock Cunningham.
He's back.
He's back,
again.
Baby. He will be back. And there's also, what's the kid? The other kid from the Metroplex.
Anabekwe?
Yeah, Anabekwe. He is back, too, at this point. So somebody said, hey, Midland is from Dripping Springs. See, I always get mixed reviews on that from the text that say, well, the couple of them live in Dripping. They're actually in, I don't know. Midland's playing at that festival this weekend, so go check that out.
And they have ties to the Dirty Drip.
All right, we will come back. When we do, we will continue. A lot of text coming in on it. We'll talk about it. We will also reset our top stories and get you set up for a busy weekend here on the Horn.
Texas football coach Steve Sarkisian.
This looks like my team. And it's year 3. I said it feels and looks like my team. The way the players talk, the way they act, what they look like, the way they move, the way they run, how we practice, the speed, the tempo, all of those things, man, I'm like, okay, now we're about ready to go. This is what it's supposed to look like.
The Texas Spring Game, Saturday at 1. Pre-game at 11 a.m. from Bevo Boulevard on the Horn.
Got a crash on the south side, FM 812 near Toll 130 northbound. That's an injury wreck, so significant problems there. Another one, Southwest Parkway, Travis Cook Road. That one is clearing. Same thing, Airport in Oak Springs, but still could be working for a while longer. And the saga of southbound I-35 near Breaker Lane has finally ended over the last hour as crews have finally cleared up the fuel that spilled because of a crash around 3 o'clock this morning. We had one lane blocked off for most of the rush hour, but no more. I'm Don Miller, that's traffic.
Are you suffering from hair loss, bald spots, receding hairlines? There's a new solution for men and women that uses regenerative medicine to stimulate hair follicles and give you thicker, fuller hair with no surgery. This remarkable treatment is now available here from the regenerative specialists at QC Kinetics. That's right, the same protocols that help relieve joint pain can be used to give new life to dormant hair follicles. QC Kinetics medical professionals can use growth factors from your own body, concentrated and applied to your scalp, restoring hair follicles, preventing further loss, and increasing hair growth. Imagine thicker, fuller hair with no expensive surgery and no downtime. So if you're losing your hair due to aging, pattern baldness, or a medical condition, call now to learn more about exciting natural biologic treatments, regenerative medicine that can stimulate those dormant hair follicles. Get your hair growing naturally again. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 512-593-4303. That's 512-593-4303. 512-593-4303.
Avenged Sevenfold in concert. The wait is finally over. A7X. Friday, October 13th, Germania Insurance Amphitheater. Special guest, Falling in Reverse. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Avenged Sevenfold. Live. New album out June 2nd.
Hi folks, Craig Way here for my friends at Sharp Vision Modern LASIK. I have a suggestion for you. Why not stop putting off LASIK and invest in yourself this year? Think of all the time and money you'll save without the hassles of contacts and glasses. Right now is your time for life-changing LASIK. Sharp Vision is offering LASIK starting at $495 per eye and guaranteed financing. That's right. You can finance your LASIK and start living with clear, hassle-free vision today. Why not go online or give Sharp Vision a call and and schedule your free LASIK consultation. Voted Austin American Statesman's best of the best corrective eye surgeon 3 years in a row, Dr. Nicholas Lancaster and his team at Sharp Vision are ready to make your contacts and glasses a thing of the past. For LASIK starting at $495 per eye and guaranteed financing approval, go online or call to schedule your free consultation today. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK, official LASIK provider of Austin FC. How about a little history tour for you? 10,000 years worth to be exact. What is it? Inner Space Caverns, of course. Located in the depths below Georgetown, your guided adventure tour is ready to take you and your family into the living cavern along a well-lit pathway through time and space. Inner Space Cavern. Take the Hidden Passages tour, the Wild Cave tour. No reservations required. Hit innerspacecavern.com for more tours, times, and even a coupon. Inner Space Cavern. Well lit, safe, and really cool. Adventures await. Come explore.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, shout, cheers to savings.
The Horns text line is brought to you by Specs. Specs wine, spirits, and finer foods. You're on the way, less to pay, everyday store. Cheers to savings. It's Bucky and Erin.
There's old Tyler Childers. He'll be there in Georgetown this weekend. Have fun with that. Spring game is tomorrow. 1 o'clock. We'll be on there live, 11 a.m. Rod Babers, Mike Harge, and myself, our normal pregame crew from Bevo Boulevard, getting you set for the orange-white scrimmage powered by the Texas One Fund. All right, Buck, let's clear up two things, okay?
Is this a once and for all?
Well, we don't know yet the outcome of any DNA testing that will be done with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
But Jalen Green, A.J. Johnson, the former commitment to Texas who's now going to play in Australia, considers Jalen Green his brother, though the two are not related. He considers him his brother.
So what he really is, in reality, is a close friend.
Correct. Who's been a mentor.
They had me confused the whole time.
Yeah,
had me convinced.
This is from
they had you convinced before we even talked to you about it.
This is actually from a Sports Illustrated story talking about Jalen Green, and says Johnson considers Green, who was a second overall pick in the 2021 draft, to be an older brother, though the two are not related. So good? Good.
Yes.
Also, Matthew McConaughey, as someone pointed out, and a quick Google search does confirm this, that if indeed Woody Harrelson's dad is also Matthew McConaughey's father, that Matthew would all of a sudden have a father who was a assassin. Because Woody Harrelson's father, Charles Harrelson,
murdered somebody, did he
was
not?
an American hitman, an organized crime figure who was convicted of assassinating a federal judge in San Antonio back in 1979.
So Matthew may not want that on his resume.
Probably not. And he has considered his father for 53 years. And now it's in question. Or it's all a publicity stunt for their new show called Brother from Another Mother. Maybe that's where the confusion comes because, Brother from Another Mother. That would be, okay. There you go. That's where we stand on this Friday morning.
We're sticking with that, y'all.
Well, it's,
And Ty had it all right. He was it's just strolling along. Everything was good. And now we confused him.
No. I thought it made sense as I read it. I may have read it wrong, but I was just reading the story. But the case in point is they both have different mothers. They know that. They may have the same father. And Matthew did not know
it's
that.
all cleared up
until just now. And
you got the people fired up with that one.
Well, yeah, because
Does it really take them much to get fired up on the text line?
That they
really?
were helping us. But I don't.
It's Friday.
I wouldn't want to know that. Would you want to know that? I would just go ahead and stick with okay, you're my dad. We're running with that.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm assuming that both of their dads. I know Charles Harrelson, who was in prison his whole life, is dead, but I'm assuming Matthew's father is probably in the grave as well.
Maybe Matthew's dad can adopt Woody now.
Well, isn't Matthew's brother adopted too?
Yeah, something. I mean,
what's his name again?
Gosh,
something weird. Or he named his son like Coors Light or something.
No, he does have a
Schaefer.
Well, Matthew's brother does have a child named Miller Lite. Miller Lite, if memory serves. Now you're really going to confuse me.
Called him Schaefer.
Who drank Schaefer?
Oh boy!
Are you,
everybody?
Where?
At some time.
I've never had a Schaefer.
You've never had a Schaefer before?
No.
Ooh.
I don't even know that I've heard of it. You heard of it, Ty?
Never heard of that in my life.
Oh my god!
How about Iron City?
Yeah,
I've heard of that. That's a Pittsburgh beer, correct?
Yes. Black Label.
Black.
Is that the same stuff they have in the 40 ounces in the gas station?
What,
or is that
Black Label?
That's Steel Reserve, is what I'm thinking.
Oh,
of.
Black Label. You don't even want to hear that.
Are Erin and Bucky brothers? No. My mom's listening to the show right now. She actually texted earlier and was very confused by the conversation too, as we all were. Matthew's confused now too, and I have to ask this: why would his mother ever say that? Why in the world, Miss McConaughey?
They were having drinks. Lots of things get said. If you're in, where were they? In France or
Greece.
something? In Greece?
If there's even a possibility or a chance that that's true, you go to your grave with that.
That's what I'm telling you. Don't want to know. Don't care to know.
Let's throw people into a tailspin. All right, well, we got more to do this weekend. Get out to Coda. They've got MotoGP. Get out to the concert at Georgetown. Get out to the spring game and all the festivities at Texas. Also, Astros and Rangers. You want to make a little wager on Astros Rangers, our first 3-game series, Ty? I got the Stros.
Sure. What are you wagering?
Well, some Schaefer Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you a
Pabst.
12-pack of Schaefer Light.
Pabst.
Do they make that anymore?
No.
And your son Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Pabst Blue Ribbon, yes.
All right, so we're wagering on it. Astros Rangers for the first time this year. Also, NBA playoffs start this weekend. We'll have first game ones, 4 of them Saturday, 4 of them Sunday. So safe to say Monday morning at 6 a.m. we'll have quite a bit to talk about. We look forward to that. And look forward to the weekend. We'll see you at Bevo Boulevard tomorrow. Buck, have a great weekend.
You guys too.
Hey, National Gardening Day, Buck.
There you go.
National Gardening Day. Get out to Callahan's and get your gardens in. We'll talk to you Monday.
Light the tower with